Access Sacramento presents Hometown Sports Game of the Week. Major underwriting support this season for Hometown Sports Game of the Week on Access Sacramento is provided by the Sacramento Metropolitan Cable Television Commission. Access Sacramento also thanks Sharif Jewelers, fine jewelers since 1932. Sharif Jewelers, a longtime sponsor of community television. And Folsom Lake Honda, a proud sponsor of Access Sacramento's Hometown TV and Game of the Week, and a partner in our community, Folsom Lake Honda.
The regular season for high school football is rapidly coming to a conclusion. We have reached week 10, and Access Sacramento's Hometown Sports Game of the Week has met in Folsom, where tonight the host and number one Folsom Bulldogs entertain Sierra Foothill League rival Del Oro in our Game of the Week. Good evening and welcome to Prairie City Stadium here on the campus of Folsom High School with the Imperator of Analysis, Hall of Famer Jim Domino. I'm Will James. Nice to have you with us tonight for this big matchup. And though both these teams, Jim, are assured of receiving postseason bids, it's still a lot on the line in this conference game, more than we can even say in a short burst, but plenty of intensity will be applied in this conflict tonight.
Well, that's rest assured, Will. Yes, they're getting ready for playoffs, but this is the last game of the year, and you want to go out on a positive note. And not just the outcome of this game and the pride at stake, but also the seedings will take place on Sunday here, just a few days away. And so why not finish with another victory, even though both the teams are guaranteed playoff spots. So the crowd is here. They've been rivals for a long time, and we expect a tough, tight football game despite the records.
Well, the respective head coaches for these two teams, Jeffrey Walters of Del Oro and Paul Doherty guiding the number one Bulldogs, placing plenty of urgency on this game. Not that it's needed for postseason significance, but to claim another victory in their conference. Now let's take a look at the last time these two teams squared off. It was approximately a year ago in Loomis, and it was a one-sided affair, Jim.
Well, it certainly was. Folsom came away with a 40-0 victory and made it pretty easy. Their defense had 6 sacks and 2 picks and only allowed 138 total yards. And, of course, quarterback benefit was everything with his air assault, 4 TD passes. The Nagata brothers, Joe and Dan, had their usual good night. Shake and Bake just played great, and one of the boys is playing great for Clemson right now as we speak. And Dan remains here, and you'll see a lot of him tonight. And as Folsom went on to post their 5th straight rout and leads in this series, of course, 5-1.
Yes, they've rattled off a nice string of victories, and tonight, meeting number 7. Now, the last outings for these two teams, they met with the same outcome. One of them was much more important and a lot closer.
Well, let's start out with visiting Del Oro. They took care of one of their big rivals, Rockland, and they soared over the Thunder. They finished with a great clutch win. And, of course, Condi, getting him back, he had missed several games, had a 176-yard night and a TD. Young sophomore Lewis getting his feet wet again had a winning TD pass. So he's coming of age, and we saw him on his first outing about 3 weeks ago. The Golden Eagles take over sole possession of third place. Meanwhile, Folsom was handling Grant very easily as they really mauled the Pacers. Reithmeyer had 3 TD passes. Hutton dazzled them with some great long runs, long reception, great return. The Bulldogs get numerous picks, and Ross and Powell had picks. And, of course, they extended their streak to 42 straight in the conference, and that's quite a phenomenal streak within your own conference, one of the toughest conferences in Northern California.
Well, impact players always bear major significance in these games, but even more so this evening for the Del Oro Golden Eagles, and they are going to have to come up and play way up on the road this evening.
Well, yes, let's start out with that running back, Sheldon Conde, we were talking about. At running back, he leads that brigade. Ryan Lewis, sophomore quarterback, came in here. Has only had about 3 or 4 starts. When you see him tonight, you'll see him run like a running back. Bear Bruce at wide receiver, great hands, two-way starter. Aiden Foster, the running mate of Conde, and also a great defensive linebacker. And Jacob Birch leads this team in tackling with 83 tackles. Last but not least is Cal Lunders, who you might see a little bit of him at quarterback, one of the top safeties in the SFL.
Well, that's even a bit of an understatement. 4 interceptions this season in that secondary, and he's returned 3 of them for scores.
What a season.
So definitely a big play guy on defense. We have the table set for you, but let's now look at the Bulldogs bonanza because the home team brings plenty.
Well, they certainly do. Let's start with their leader, Jake Reithmeyer, doing a tremendous job, throwing for over 2,000 yards this year. C.J. Hutton, big play Hutton. We've watched him for 3 years, Will, and I'll tell you, he can do it all. Elijah Badger, I should say, with 15 touchdown catches this year. Big time, being recruited heavily by some of the top teams in the nation. Jack Melander anchors that front 4, and Dylan Richard, one of the top tacklers and linebackers in the league, having another great year. Alex Wong, the other linebacker to Richard's side, doesn't maybe get the credit that Richard gets, but he's as steady as she goes, and there's a good chance he'll make all SFL as well.
Well, that Bulldog defensive unit, they're only surrendering about 19 points a ball game, and they're going to try to duplicate that this evening. And, of course, Del Oro, they're only scoring just over 20 a game. They're going to need to exceed their usual production on offense tonight in order to stay within striking distance of the host Bulldogs. A good crowd has settled in. It's senior night here at Folsom High School, so a little bit of festivity to honor the seniors who will be departing at the end of this year. But when it gets down to business, we all know it's all about what happens on the field, so don't wander off. When we come back, Lauren Goodman will punctuate this pregame with some key details leading up to the opening kickoff. We'll be right back.
These are cool. Did you, what did
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right.
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
Selfie. Nailed it.
Staring contest. You still got it. I know.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Here's something we bet you didn't know. Nearly half of all cancers can be prevented. That's right, half. nearly 50%, mostly by making small everyday changes in your diet and controlling your weight, walking more, eating less, and eating foods that help you and your family to seriously reduce the risk of cancer. And of course, by not smoking. Visit the Cancer Prevention Together We Can website and get a free 30-day planner filled with tips, recipes, stats, and more about protecting your family. Go to prevent50.org.
Sir. A beautiful evening on this chilly, brisk, but clear Friday night in week 10 of this high school football season. With Jim Domino, I'm Will James, and we've got Folsom taking on SFL rival Del Oro. Let's now bounce our attention down to field level and pick up Lauren Goodman. Goody?
Thanks, Will. Now, these two teams haven't known each other very well, but they've had some very impactful matchups. And it all started back in 2009, where they played in the SFS semifinals. Now, these two teams tonight is the 7th meeting, but it's been very one-sided, and we have to talk about the incredible matchup, meeting one, which was the best meeting on December 4th, 2009, in the San Joaquin section semifinal round, where it was a dramatic comeback. In this inaugural meeting, which happened to be in the semifinal round in the SJF playoffs, took place here at Folsom High School. Nobody could have written a story so wild and beyond our imagination to where they could see how this game actually went down. Folsom had just dropped Granite Bay 48-28. Del Oro came in after a struggle against St. Mary's of Stockton, where they won 30-29, where they faced off in that semifinal matchup. Folsom came out with high-octane offense, and they were running on rocket fuel as they scored 5 touchdowns in the first and limited Del Oro to only 7, finishing the first half 35-7. Then Del Oro came out and switched things around, and there was a different tale at the end of that game. They were led by the bullish running back, Bryce Pratt, and the Golden Eagles began to slowly tick away and was able to outscore Folsom 14-7 in the third. Still trailing 42-21, Del Oro's defense slammed the door on Folsom and was able to score and chip away to get back in this ball game. The Golden Eagles capped a clutch drive and scored a late touchdown where they were able to get the game within 1, and then they decided to go for a 2-point conversion and tied and won the ball game 43-42 and shocked the Folsom fans. That was a thrill that carried out for over 5 years, but Folsom was able to avenge that loss with the next 5 wins. And as you see here, the Bulldogs outscored the Eagles in those 5 games alone, 209-24 in 5 games. That's remarkable. These 2 new head coaches and 2 different cast of characters are going to lead the way in tonight's ball game. For the visiting Eagles, they're being led by Jeffrey Walters. In his 3rd year, his best season came in 2008, which just was last year, where they were 13-2, and they made a finalist appearance in the state championship game in Division II. He holds a playoff record of 6-2. Now coming in for the home Bulldogs tonight, they'll be led by first-year guy Paul Doherty. Now Paul's coming in with an 8-1 record. He had a 5-year stint at Sacramento High School and then a 2-year stint at Whitney. He has an overall playoff record of 5-7. Tonight's senior night, and it should be full of thrills. Will.
Well, okay. Well, as teams are getting ready to play here, they're still going through pre-game warm-up. We got about 9 minutes still on the clock, but I think we're going to start sooner than that. What do you think, Will?
Don't know. Let's let that play out. But what we can do at present time is look at the SFL standings and show the grouping exactly who's where in Week 10.
Well, there we have it. Let's look at that SFL league. again, one of the toughest leagues, not only in Northern Cal, but all of California. Folsom, 5-0, undefeated. Obviously, they got a lock on first place, even if they were upset tonight. And of course, they don't want that. Oak Ridge in second place there. If you see three teams, Oak Ridge, Del Oro, and Rockland, all with only 2 losses. Granite Bay right behind them, and then Whitney and Grant bringing up the rear. And you look to the right, you see their overall record. Now, once the playoff committee makes their decisions on Sunday, of course, they're going to look at the whole picture, not just the league record, but the overall record as well. And both teams, of course, are big rivals in this SFL with storied programs, both ex-state champions. And so we know they're going to go at it tonight as hard as they can. So we know this, that despite the loss of 18 starters on that Del Oro Ball Club, they'll come to play tonight.
Most assuredly, there's pride at stake, and it goes to the deepest level of their soul and character. This game will be played all out. Both teams better bring their full intensity. There's other games going on around the area. In Week 10, SFL, of course, is going to complete their slate.
Well, yeah, as you look at that, you see Granite Bay and Rockland meeting tonight, and Whitney and Grant hooking up, and Elk Grove, of course, goes up to Oak Ridge, and Oak Ridge entertains the Elk Grove Ball Club coming up there in a non-league encounter. But you know both those coaches want to win that game, want to stay positive, come up with a victory going into the playoffs.
Well, we've also got other non-SFL games around the area of major importance because league championships are bearing in other conferences.
Well, you got Davis at Cosumnes Oaks as we speak, and that's huge. That's for the Delta title. And Davis coming off a couple of tough seasons, having a great year, 8-1 going in Cosumnes. And those of you that were with us last week saw a great game with Cosumnes defeating Elk Grove at Elk Grove's homecoming. Intercom at Roseville, another title game. Terry Stark's ball club is unbeaten at the time. Joe Catolico's club is ready for them, so that's a good showdown. Colfax and Center, again, 2 rated ball clubs going at it. Colfax with Joey Martello at the home has had many titles. Center having one of the best years in the last decade. Vista Del Lago at Capital Christian for the championship of that league. The Cal, and Pleasant Grove at Jesuit tomorrow at 1.
Saturday matinee over in Carmichael. Don't wander off. When we come back from this break, we'll continue our pre-game content here from Folsom High, Hometown Sports Game of the Week.
Here's something we bet you didn't know. Nearly half of all cancers can be prevented. That's right, half. Nearly 50%, mostly by making small everyday changes in your diet and controlling your weight, walking more, eating less, and eating foods that help you and your family to seriously reduce the risk of cancer. And of course, by not smoking. Visit the Cancer Prevention Together We Can website and get a free 30-day planner filled with tips, recipes, stats, and more about protecting your family. Go to prevent50.org.
Well, there's part of our Week 10 crowd here at Prairie City Stadium prior to Folsom taking on invading Del Oro in the last league final here before the playoffs get underway. But tonight, Del Oro 6-3, 5-0 Folsom squaring off. Let's take a look at the keys the Imperator has isolated for us tonight.
Well, let's start with MPT, and boy, that's make a difference. Mistakes, penalties, and turnovers. In the last few weeks in our ball games, they've been monumental in determining the outcome. So you always hope that you can win the game on field and not get aided by penalties and turnovers, but they do happen. That's part of the game. Of course, Del Oro's clock management is key. In order to keep that potent Folsom offense off the field, they're going to have to control the clock well, and that means a strong running game. And now that they have their ace running back, they certainly have improved their line blocking, so they're capable of maintaining that football. And of course, finishing strong is very important. Both teams want to finish strong on a winning note, on a positive note, and get their team ready, mentally and physically ready for the playoffs.
Now, matchups are going to factor heavily tonight, and you've spotted a couple that you think are of the utmost importance.
Well, yes, let's, as we see the band out there, let's look at these matchups. The Eagle defense, of course, versus that big play Bulldog offense. The Bulldogs have so many big play guys that can go to the house. It's unbelievable. So the matchups are crucial here. That Eagles defense are going to have a hands full. Bottom line, run versus pass. You've got an outstanding running ball club that runs the football 70% of the time versus a passing team that throws the ball 60% of the time and averages 36 passes per game. Okay? And of course, the quarterback challenge. And what do I mean by 3-by-2? I'm going to explain that to you. Tonight, Del Oro will probably use 3 quarterbacks. They're going to start with sophomore Lewis, and you might see Lunders, the senior, and the returning Stow come out of off the bench as well. Versus 2, Patu, and of course Riethmeyer, the starter.
Well, we're getting things put in place for you, and we're going to come right back after this timeout and take a look at starting lineups and brace for the opening kickoff in the Hometown Sports Game of the Week.
It used to be simple. When I was young and couldn't figure things out, I asked for help. I let someone know when I got hurt, or scared, or sad. As I grew older, things got more complicated. Sometimes people let me down, so I solved my own problems. Then I joined the military. They trained me to be strong. I learned to carry my own weight, and sometimes the weight of others. Now that I'm home, it seems hard to fit back in. Reaching out is difficult because I want to do it on my own. Remember when you were young? Asking for help was simple. We asked for help. You don't have to do this alone. Veterans like us have faced similar challenges. We're not alone at MakeTheConnection.net.
The Folsom High School Marching Band, a beautiful rendition of our Star-Spangled Banner to just about complete the preliminaries before we get down to business. Again, Folsom coming in 5-0, 8-1 overall. The only blemish, a loss right here at Prairie City Stadium when De La Salle of Concord came in and really put on a show. As far as Del Oro's concerned, 6-3, but they've really had a nice second half of league after taking some early hits. A young ball club continuing to mature.
Yes, they are. As the officials come out on the field, I believe we have a veteran crew, don't we, Will?
Well, I can vouch for one veteran that I'm well aware of, wearing the white cap this evening, and actually one of the few I've recognized, Ray Pulley, has the final say tonight, working with umpire Tony Karbowski. Jason Hott, the head linesman tonight, our line judge John Rogers, and Marlon Hill will serve as our back judge. Folsom will be kicking off. They're wearing their reds trimmed in white, no blue tonight for the Bulldogs, and visiting Del Oro in their road whites trimmed in black and in gold. DiGiorno to do the booting for the Bulldogs. And he's got a strong leg. Twin returners out there for Del Oro, and this is blasted well back of the end zone, and that'll come out on the 20, a touchback, and that is where the visiting Golden Eagles will open their first series. On offense for the visitors tonight, a young sophomore at the QB position, Ryan Lewis, working in the backfield with leading rusher Sheldon Condi, Foster the fullback, Shannon, Buse, and DeMar the other receivers. The O-line, a good one, Evans West, Black, Vesky, and Jared Hill. First play from scrimmage from the Del Oro 20. Double wide left and double wide right. Don't usually see the 4 receiver set for the Eagles. They're showing it off right now. Lewis to throw, fires left and has a completion for, wow, nearly 9 yards on the falling forward. So they take a page out of the Bulldog book.
Yes, short passing game, and that's a big difference here right off the get-go. Lewis before was trying to throw bombs, and now he got the ball out under 2 seconds.
No huddle, hurry-up offense shown for Del Oro as they're working with a 2nd and 2, triple wide receivers to the near side. Run the football this time. Outside with big room. Foot race, left sideline. Condi chased and dropped near the 10. How about that? A long bite that has really shaken this crowd up. And the defense will be on the spot, but they're waiting for Del Oro. 61 yards on that burst.
And first and goal inside the 10.
First and goal. 61 yards on the Condi burst. Football at about the 9. Left side to the corner. Touchdown, Golden Eagles. How about that? What you got, Jim?
Well, it was there. They had him outnumbered on the weak side, and he took it. That was a great call. And, of course, Lewis runs like a running back.
Del Oro doing just what they needed to do, and they're lined up looking like they're going to go for 2. So far, uncharacteristic on some of these plays in that Golden Eagle offense. Head coach Jeffrey Walters pulling out some stops. 2 to the left, 2 to the right. All day to throw into the end zone, and that is good for 2 on a sweet strike and a scoring hook up there to Dylan Shannon. Wow. Another look as we go to break. Lewis darting for the corner, and he's able to get in with big-time speed. We'll be right back for more of the Hometown Sports Game of the Week.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
Logan Shepard set to kick off for the Golden Eagles. A chip shot to the near sideline, out of bounds, and that'll draw a penalty flag. Well, in this opening sequence, a lot of new twists shown by Del Oro, and we'll take a look at their defensive unit. Even though they may have to kick again, we'll see what Folsom wants to do with that penalty. It looks like they'll accept the penalty and do a re-kick. The march off goes from the 40 to the 35. Folsom, of course, would prefer to have some kind of a run back. They've got two of the best in the area, Badger 5 and Hutton 3, stationed near the Bulldog 20. 8-0 early Del Oro lead. It didn't take him long. 4 plays, 80 yards. There's another chip shot, backing up, and at the 15-yard line, it's Hutton working to his right. Got some blockers out there, cuts it, runs it, right sideline, and he has a terrific return, knocked out somewhere near the 45-yard line. And we'll set that Bulldog offense for you, beginning with QB Jake Reithmeyer, having quite a year, the senior is. Nagata at a running back position, the slots, Hutton, Badger a wide receiver, Cottrell, and Mitch Anderson. They'll do some substituting at that other receiver spot, sometimes a tight end, sometimes 4 wides. Right now I see Hutton and Badger to the near side, and twin wides to the right side, and as they open up at the 40, 1st and 10. They run right with Nagata, blasted as he makes a yard maybe, and driven out hard. Coming up, roaring up from the secondary, Bear Buse. Well, you saw a sampling of that defense, that front 4, Munch, Black, Vesky, and Hill. They're all good pass rushers as well. The 3 backers, Birch, the leading tackler on this squad. And then this secondary is going to be in for a real test tonight. Gain of 1, 2nd and 9.
You saw that last play, why Birch leads the team in tackling with 83. Will, he added 1 more than that one.
Triple wide to the near side. Reithmeyer fires short, incomplete. It was low to Hutton, and he couldn't do the reach back. And that'll bring up a 3rd and 9.
Well, he had to get the ball out in a hurry. There was pressure by the front 4. Munch, Black, Vesky, and Hill put some heat on him.
You will see that Folsom all night, applying that type of heat. And they'll also get some backup from Malachi Scott, another good pass rusher. A big 3rd and 9. Bulldogs down 8-0 early. One of the few times they've been behind in the first. Reithmeyer, a bullet, grabbed beautifully that time. And I'll tell you, Broussard and this brigade of receivers is probably the best in the area. They are deep, and the Casumnes Oaks transfer makes a nice grab there despite the good coverage.
Yeah. That's a great catch because they were, well defended. Reithmeyer threw the ball right in there, and of course Broussard made a great catch. Broussard, as you mentioned, coming over, transferring, just become eligible recently. Recent transfer from the Casumnes Oaks program.
Ray Pulley organizing the chain crew there. He's indicating it is a 1st down. They do move the chains. 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs at the Golden Eagle 49. That was a gain of 10 on the pass play. Wow, they overload the right side with triples. A bullet up the middle, incomplete.
Well, it just appears right now that Reithmeyer is rushing his throws, and he knows he's under heavy duress. And I look for him now to run that draw play or screen play and get a little heat off him. Yeah, he's got to. Good point you're making. Our statistician Robbie Bimpson says he's got to come over the top there, force him to throw sidearm with that rush.
Motion shown, whistles blow, a flag flies, possible delay of game.
5 yards, still second down.
A little procedure there, illegally. -5, make it second now, and 15. The football moved back 5. Parked at the 46. Del Oro showing some tough-mindedness here on the road early on, and there's the run play. Grab from behind, he spins away, makes up the penalty yardage, possible loose football. A scramble near the 45. Eagles think they have it.
A draw play we talked about, and they do.
And they do. Riethmeyer fumbles. And another look.
Watch Riethmeyer on the draw play, going inside. A host of people around. He's got to hold out onto that football. He's trying to spin and get extra yards. And there you see it, shake loose.
The ball squirted away there, and the bodies everywhere. And finally, it came to rest, and Del Oro had a guy there. And we're giving credit to Blake DeMar, the outside backer, for that recovery. 1st and 10 football at the Eagle 46 after the turnover.
Here you see Lewis getting a change of plays from the sideline from his quarterback coach.
Good protection. He wants to run it and runs into a couple of tough tacklers right there. Shut down easily. In on that first contact, Springer, Lucas Springer. They give him a yard, make it 2nd and 9 from the 47. Again, Lewis, a glance to the sideline, and head coach Jeff Walters. We're still early in the first, in case you've just dialed in. 8:40 to go first, but Del Oro struck quickly on top, 8-0. Left side running by an excellent fullback, and a good gain by Foster to the left, and they're going to be about 3 yards shy. Bring up a 3rd and somewhat manageable 3. Closer to 4.
I didn't think they gave him a very good marking there, Will.
I don't either. 3rd down from the Folsom 48. They're not huddling, but they're continuing to use the clock. Left side run again, and the big fullback barrels past the first down marker, and plenty to spare. He runs hard, Aiden Foster does.
Well, he does. He's getting getting great push by West and Evans, the left side. He does run hard. As you see, Evans and West get off the football, moving their opponents about 3 yards back.
Football parked at the Bulldog 43. 7.5 to go, nearing midway first. Nice to have you with us for Access Sacramento's Hometown Sports Game of the Week. It is week 10, and it is senior night here at Folsom, but right now, Del Oro with the impetus. Up the middle, tough running. Nice job there by Condi, bouncing off a couple of tacklers and getting a better part of 8 on that. See where they put him. Make it about 7.
What I'm impressed. Take a look at this. You see the line surge plus hard running by Condi. Yards after contact, he picked 3 yards more after contact, Will.
Well, he's feeling pretty frisky, having that breakout game in the win over Rockland last week. 2nd and 3 from the Folsom 36-yard line. Plenty of time between plays, though they are not huddling.
Well, we said they're going to use the total clock management, and that's what they're doing.
Fumble, and they fall on it to prevent the turnover, but they're going to lose about 3 on the play.
Well, it appeared, if we take a look here, Lewis took his eye off the ball, and the snap came, and he wasn't ready for it.
That's exactly right, Coach. Let's take a look here, and he didn't look it in. Okay, it's going to bring up a 3rd and 5. 3rd and 5 from the 38.
They're going maximum clock here now. Let's see if they get this play off in time.
Motion in that backfield. They fake and straight ahead for a carry near the 1st down yard marker. How about that on the carry by QB Ryan Lewis?
Wow, a quarterback draw, moving the chains again.
Here it is. Lewis said, call my number. Here I come.
Here we go. We'll fake it inside, and I'll take it. He runs like a fullback.
Navarro with the tackle for Folsom up from that strong safety position. Solo tackle, but it's a 1st down at the Bulldog 32. Wow, this offensive line is really getting off.
They are, and you know what? They pull right guard Vesky, David Vesky, probably one of the best blockers in the league. I'm telling you, he got off the football. They're getting some surge on their front. Watch this.
Sheldon Condi right behind that good blocking, and he's tough to stop. 2nd and 2 upcoming. Eagles on the move here. Flip side of quarter number 1, 4:50 to go here in the 1st. A good crowd on hand and a brisk evening up the hill here in Folsom. Little bobble there. They smash it and get close to a 1st. I think they're going to be shy, though.
Well, he didn't get much. They might give him a foot or two, but Condi there was nothing there that time.
Navarro's done a nice job with his run support. He's had 2 hard shots on tackles just now. So they get 1 out of it, make it 3rd and 1.
Yeah, they got the safeties playing so tight. Navarro's getting tackles, and he's a strong safety, Will. He's playing up like a linebacker here and getting tackles, and what he's got to be careful is a play-action pass.
9th play of the drive. They've already absorbed more than 5 minutes off the clock.
Well, that's what they wanted to do, clock management.
3rd and 1, but a whistle's going to kill this off. Time out taken. We'll take a little breather ourselves and come right back for more of the Hometown Sports Game of the Week.
Here's something we bet you didn't know. Nearly half of all cancers can be prevented. That's right, half. Nearly 50%, mostly by making small everyday changes in your diet and controlling your weight, walking more, eating less, and eating foods that help you and your family to seriously reduce the risk of cancer. And of course, by not smoking. Visit the Cancer Prevention Together We Can website and get a free 30-day planner filled with tips, recipes, stats, and more about protecting your family. Go to prevent50.org.
Well, it's often been said that one of the best forms of defense is to hold on to the pill with ball control, and we're seeing a very good example of that right now from the Eagles.
We certainly are. Let's see how long they can keep this up. I know Folsom's frosting at the bit when they can't get their hands on the ball and run their row.
3rd and 1. Everybody packed in tight except one wide out. Now we see some motion. They run left with their fullback, and it's going to be very close on the give to Alden Foster.
If they give him forward motion, he definitely penetrated.
1st and 10. That's the 3rd 1st down since this drive started. We'll take another look at it.
Yeah, you give to Foster. He's strong. He breaks that shoestring tackle, and just enough to move it past the chains here with his forward motion.
Again, Navarro in on that tackle. Good D that time. Nowhere to go. The hole closed up, and the gang tacklers arrived on that play to knock down Condi. No gain. 2nd and 10.
No gain. He tried to pull that guard. There was nothing there. They had great penetration by their front. Melander and Springer got off the football here. And again, I know they don't like to throw the football, but play action is could be go big for them.
Lewis to throw, left side.
Yeah, it's unfortunate Stone King didn't even have a chance to go into his route.
That play was rushed unnecessarily, and it's going to bring up a 3rd and 10.
I thought they'd go more play action because they've run so much rather than straight drop back, Will.
Well, we'll see what they have in mind. Alden Mack into the ball game, an underrated receiver. He wears number 9, and here's the 12th play of the drive. Wants to throw, being chased, throws it to his checkoff man, but he was under heavy duress, and that play was busted.
Yeah, nowhere for Wilson to go, plus the pass was on the ground practically, and they were almost better for an incomplete pass because they took about a 6-yard loss on the play.
Yes, it was. Back to the 20, what is that? 26-yard line. So it's 4 down territory, twin wideouts to both sides. Throwing all the way, over the middle, overthrown. He had a man wide open in the center of the field, and Hunter Lee was right in the middle, but incomplete, and the ball goes over.
Wow, he seems like he's rushing himself. Well, he still had time to throw, and Hunter Lee was wide open at right about at the marker, about 15, 18 yards away.
Well, we'll see if they go back to that. Maybe they took notice. We don't know, but Folsom has the rock now. Just 2 minutes left here in the first quarter. Dale Oro did a beautiful job. That time they took 7 minutes, 16 seconds off the clock. Right side run, Badger hammed in and dropped for a loss. Inside the 25-yard line. They started out at the 26. That lateral containment was terrific, led by David Vesky. Too many defenders there.
Well, definitely, they're going to have to go to the air. It looks like they're trying to they're shutting down the run thus far.
Passing down. Riethmeyer fires deep. He's got Hutton out there on the dead run to the 30, 20. Nobody's going to catch him. Touch! Down, Bulldogs. 76 yards on a perfect throw, leading Hutton, and he showed the speed to keep his backside to the secondary.
Well,
just like that.
That's big play, Folsom. Riethmeyer right on the money, put the nose of the football, and Hutton knows how to run under those. And you can see why, despite his size, the skill, the speed of Hutton. That's why Sac State, among others, Davis, Sac State, and all the local colleges are all over him.
That was a fine throw by Riethmeyer, and Hutton, valuable player, on for the PAT for the Dogs. And that one is good. We'll take another look at the touchdown, and here's how the Bulldogs got back into the game. They're still down 1, but Riethmeyer and Hutton know how to do it. We'll be right back.
It's a big responsibility.
Oh, it's huge. I know, it's huge.
And the salary.
Oh my God, yes.
Right?
I mean, like, I was about to move in with my parents, and right before, yeah, so this saved me.
I really believe in you, you know?
Thank you. It's nice to hear that from someone.
These are cool. Did you, what did you?
Drake DiGiorno with his bounding kickoff. It goes into the end zone for a touchback, and Del Oro will come out with 1st and 10 from the Eagle 20 with 1:18 left here in a rapidly played first quarter. Most of that period chewed up by the Del Oro grinded out offense, although they stung the Bulldogs to set up their touchdown with a 61-yard burst by Condi. So each team with a big play, either leading to or directly resulting in a touchdown. 2 plays, 74 yards in just a mere 44 seconds.
Well, let's see if the Del Oro Eagles can go on another long run drive.
A new quarterback is checked into the ball game for the Eagles. Now Logan Stow at the helm. He was injured earlier in the year. More of a pocket type passer. And it looks like he's going to immediately get smacked with a penalty to worsen his situation. So the Eagles have shown us starting quarterback Ryan Lewis, who's got the all-around game. And now here's Stow, more of a pocket passer type.
Well, let's see if they get these plays off a little faster. Now, I know that they audible to a number of plays coming from the bench in that last drive.
A fumble. He picks it back up, rushed hard, steps away from trouble, and runs it. Nice job getting out. He makes the 20, and we see a penalty marker dropped in that Eagle backfield. Chased out of bounds by Dylan Richard. Well, holding call is going to bust up their continuity right now. They're already deep in their territory. And
well, they started out with a 5-yard penalty for either delay a game or illegal procedure. Now the holding call puts them really in a hole.
Holding on the offense. Half the distance from the spot of the foul. Replay first down.
Thank you, Ray Pulley. It puts the Eagles in a tough spot. They are in a deep hole here with 1:10 to go in the quarter. Replay first down. They need 24 yards to make a first. They need to get out past the 30. Handoff is going to get next to nothing. Tough D there. And Springer again in on that defensive effort. Lucas Springer, 57.
Well, let's see now if that Folsom D could come through here and put the real heat on them and prevent a big play here and keep them down in their own territory and force them to punt the football or make a mistake. And if they have to punt the ball, they're going to get the ball in an outstanding field position. So Del Oro has got 2 downs to come up to move the chains about 17 yards.
Stow fires left, incomplete. He had a receiver sit down at the 15-yard line in the person of Bear Buse. Now 3rd and 23. Well, don't know if they can make up 23, but they should try to make up a part of that to give their punter a little bit of a chance.
That's correct, Will. He looked very tight in there, and I know he's in a hole, but he looked extremely tight. Not as loose as the sophomore quarterback, Lewis.
There's a fumble inside the 5. It's kicked forward near the 6 or 7. Del Oro dodged a cannonball right there by making the recovery, but they're going to be in perilous position and most likely have to punt from the back of their end zone. And talk about tight. Not a good exchange. Fortunate to come up with it. And we have played one here at Prairie City Stadium. Don't wander off. We'll be back for more of the Hometown Sports Game of the Week.
Bye-bye. Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, He took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right.
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
We open second quarter action with Del Oro pinned back to their own goal line. They're going to punt from the back line in the person of Hunter Lee, who's on the spot. Solo returner stationed at the Del Oro 45. High snap. He's up to get it and boots it on the run. They're going to let it roll. And he picks it up now, and he's going to run it down the far sideline. A gutty play right there, and they made something out of nothing.
Well, yeah, Badger acted like he wasn't going to field the ball at all, and it's a good thing he did because he would have lost another 5 or 10 yards on the bounce.
48 yards on that punt, and Folsom takes over 1st and 10, and they'll be working from the Del Oro 42, so excellent field position for Riethmeyer and company. Bulldogs down 1 here at 8-7 after getting shocked early for a TD after a long run and then a 2-point conversion. Whistles are going to blow this play dead. Going to be a handoff to Nagata.
Ball start on the offense.
Wow.
5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Well, Folsom only had the ball 2 minutes and 31 seconds, Will, in that first quarter, yet still came away with 7 points. Of course, the big play being that bomb. And, of course, we know he's known for that. Hutton has done that for 3 years for the Bulldogs.
1st and 15 after the penalty. Riethmeyer wants to throw. Left sideline deep. He's got someone out there. Wide open. Dropped. Badger just stunned everybody right there. That was a great strike by Riethmeyer and had TD tattooed all over it, but
Certainly
it's incomplete.
Is. Well, that's a good one to go for on the first down. Certainly, you don't see that happen very often as you see Badger coming back, and that's rare.
That would have been a 47-yard aerial connection. Here they go. Short this time. Left sideline. Dropped again out of bounds. That was kind of up for grabs there.
Well, it certainly was. It looked to me like the corner had a chance for a pick over there.
Cottrell, the intended receiver, had it go off his hands. He's leaving the ball game now. Into the contest. Saxon Brown wearing 15. Riethmeyer 2 for 6. Including that drop, or 2 drops if you want to call it that way. But he's been pretty accurate on his deep throws, very accurate. 3rd and 15. He's pressured and has to get away. Hit as he throws. Incomplete.
Under heavy, he's lucky he got that away. Really lucky, and not take a 20-yard loss.
Saxon Brown, the intended receiver, up along the near sideline. And we'll take another look.
Here he comes he's holding on the ball, pressure. Throws it up for grabs.
4th and 15.
Yeah, I think Riethmeyer will drop back and kick it.
Well, they send Nagata in motion out to the left flat. He wants to throw, looking, firing, over the middle, wide open. That's a completion, a first down, and a lot more. And Badger, somewhat atoning for that dropped sure TD, has a big first down before he's finally dropped by Bear Buse.
Badger with a big play, wide open. Have a look at this. Riethmeyer with all the time in the world to get rid of the ball. Watch this. Great protection up front. He hits Badger in the crossing route, and of course he turns it into a big play.
1st and 10 from the 13. 34 yards on that catch and run. He wants to go upstairs again, looking right, firing left, deep corner. Grabbed, touchdown Bulldogs again. C.J. Hutton with the acrobatic catch. Early here in the second quarter, Bulldogs back on the board. Riethmeyer really showing some nice passing work here.
Well, he is, and he's got great protection up front, so give credit. Yes, he is. He's cool in the pocket. He's got good protection up front with McMahon, Christierson, Harrison, Gazzini, and Sorensen, giving him a lot of time to throw that route.
Giorno on for the PAT. Navarro to do the holding. Placed, booted on the way, and got it. At 10:54, early second, Bulldogs back on the board. And again, same combo, Riethmeyer to Hutton. What a catch. We'll be back for more of the Hometown Sports Game of the Week.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
McLean, Stone King, and Hunter Lee deep to receive for the Eagles. It's coming to Stone King. Inside is 5. Makes a cut and nearly makes the 30, so slightly above average field position for Del Oro. Trailing now 14-8 early here in the second.
Well, once again, they made that happen fast. Folsom marched down the field real quick, like 53 seconds, 42 yards, in 5 plays and scored.
The big play in that scoring drive, 4th and 15, a 34-yard connection to Badger.
That certainly was. It's wide open, too. No rush on the passer, wide open in the middle.
Back in the ballgame, Lewis at QB, and a short yardage blast on first down. Not much doing there. Tough D-line. Condi with the carry.
Well, young Ryan Lewis back at the helm there. He gave way at the start of the second quarter to Logan Stow, who was listed as a starting quarterback at the start of the season, and gave way to Lunders. So we might see Lunders in there too. As we mentioned, there could be 3 quarterbacks tonight.
Gain of 2, 2nd and 8. Oh, here's a little razzle. They reverse, and a throw by Buse. Incomplete. We had a feeling there would be some plays with a little pastry on them.
A little razzle-dazzle, but he threw a fastball to the sideline of Stone King, and he didn't have a lot of room to the end zone. I mean, he rifled that ball.
3rd and 8. Football at the Del Oro 30. Key play, triple wide right. Pass play, overthrown. He was going to the middle of the field there, and his intended receiver, Stone King, was open.
Well, the last 2 series haven't been good. 3 and punt, 3 and out, 3 and out. And I liked their first series where they not only held on the ball and scored, they had some great calls, and they were using the maximum of the clock. Suddenly, things have changed once they got behind here.
Not exactly a fair shake in terms of Stow taking the field with the football inside his 10-yard line. How about out near the middle of the field? He might be a little more relaxed. Punt formation upcoming for the Eagles. It's a fake, and they run it. They're short. There's some more of the unexpected right there. Folsom was ready for it.
Well, they sure would, and watch them strike fast here. Once they get this opportunity, they could go big on this very first play here, and they've got the big play people there. If they protect Riethmeyer, no, it would not surprise me they go deep right away.
1st and 10 Bulldogs from the Eagle 37. The Imperator wants the quick strike after the shock of the failed 4th down gamble. And they've got the guys to do it triple. They loaded up to the near side with 3 wides. Broussard the nearest to the sideline. Riethmeyer looking that way all the way. He's got Hutton out there. Another grab. He leaches for the end zone. Touchdown Bulldogs on a lunge at the flag. C.J. Hutton. That is his 3rd touchdown reception of the evening, and he's that good, believe me.
Well, I'm sure Coach Hawkins over at Cal Davis is licking his chops because looks like he's got the inside on getting this C.J. Hutton, who can do so many things.
DiGiorno cashes in 21-8, and Riethmeyer has been on target all 3 times to Hutton. Here's the 3rd of 3, but he does the rest by himself. There's the lunge. We'll be back for more of the Hometown Sports Game of the Week. Here's the DiGiorno kickoff, and it's bobbled around. Loose ball fallen on, looks like, by Del Oro, but very shaky on that return. And they have poor field position at their own 16-yard line.
Well, Coach Walters is going to have to get something going on here, because that's 3 straight possessions where they've given up the football and they've paid for it on the big play Folsom. As we mentioned earlier in our telecast, we said that was going to be one of the real challenges for that Del Oro defense, was trying to stop that big play offense.
Well, they haven't stopped it yet, and they've been stung 3 for 3. 1st down, straight ahead run, well handled, strung out, and dropped. Virtually no gain. Condi had early success, but his last 3 or 4 carries have had virtually nothing.
Well, what Folsom is doing now on 1st and 10s and even 2nd and longs, they're loading up the box, and they're almost defined it. Oh, can you throw on 1st down? Because we know what you're going to run, and you're going to limit your quarterback to 1 pass. So we're going to try to stop you on 1st and 10 right away.
Ryan Lewis sends Buse in motion, throws the other way, and overthrows his intended receiver along the sideline there. He was going for Aiden Mack. Well overthrown. He had time on that setup.
Well, he's rushing himself. He's in a 3rd and 10 now, and this could be the 4th 3 and out if he's not careful here. He's got to do something and not worry about going deep. Try to get something maybe crossing in the middle.
3rd and 8. Passing down. Running, throwing on the run. Incomplete. Receivers covered and some pass pressure. There you see Dylan Richard, 31. And Hutton has, wow, intentional? Yeah, the grounding call. Boy, that's really going to do in the Eagles.
Intentional grounding and loss of down on top of it.
So am I correct here? Is Folsom going to inherit the football at the...
Well, if they don't go to the house with the return, the Badger doesn't here, they're going to get the ball
from the
on
spot
about
of the foul. Carries a loss of down, 4th down.
They will have the football in great field position, maybe on the 30-yard line, but Badger is dangerous to go to the house here on if he fields the ball.
Careful on that punt formation. Don't step back out of the end zone. One step, short punt, almost straight up in the air. Not much of a bounce, out of bounds, and boy, oh boy, what a gift.
Back to the original line of scrimmage.
My, my.
Back to the line of scrimmage. The chains are still there, 9 yards. Wow.
First and goal from the Del Oro 9. The Bulldogs have blasted 3 consecutive touchdowns since falling behind 8-0. And
3 for Hutton, 126 yards on 3 receptions. That is a huge night for C.J. Hutton, who has the word out that he's heading for the University of California, Davis.
Riethmeyer rushed hard and dropped. Big loss, and they came with everybody that time and getting up off the bottom on a splendid effort. Foster with his 5th sack.
Aiden Foster with a big play.
They were in the backfield like right now.
Well, plus we had a penalty on top of it.
Personal foul. Here's the call.
Got a dead ball, personal foul on the offense. The play counts. 2nd down. 2nd down.
Thank you, Ray. Well, Del Oro, after getting ground under with 3 consecutive touchdown passes, starting to show some fight here, and it was a good call on that blitz. Perfect timing. All the way back to the 38-yard line. 2nd and 35. Riethmeyer is going to run it now. Has some room up the middle. Big room up the middle. To the near side. 20, 15, string it out, and dropped inside the 10. Riethmeyer runs for 30 yards.
I like the way he used his blockers. He run the quarterback draw, and if you watch him use his blockers, he set up this textbook. Excellent job by Jake Riethmeyer. Watch this. Quarterback draw. Here comes the pulling lineman. Follow him and use your blockers.
A rare missed tackle by Lunders up from his safety spot. He went right by that arm lunge. 30 yards. 1st and goal. Football at the 6. He wants to throw again all night to throw to the corner. Wide open. Overthrown slightly to Hutton. Incomplete. Going to bring up a 4th and 6 from the 9-yard line. Boy, he has had all day to pass on most of his passing downs. Lunders, you see there, number 10 with the coverage. A tough assignment trying to guard Hutton.
Well, it'd be a tough assignment for anyone. It's got great moves. He's an ideal slot back. He runs like a running back. He's got great hands.
Triple wide receivers to the left side, including Hutton. To the right corner. Touchdown, Bulldogs, on a pass to Badger, who was closely defended there.
Well,
the timing of the pass was the key on that.
Well, he went right to his single receiver side. And Dylan Shannon, number 6, had his hands full right there because one of the things Badgers does, like a good rebounder, he protects the ball, uses his body wisely. There was no way that defensive back could get the ball.
No, there wasn't. He was screened off. And on 4th down, they cash in again. DiGiorno, PAT, blasted a mile and got it. Well, they've been operating at full intensity, and there's the latest of 4 TDs. We'll be right back for more of the Hometown Sports Game of the Week.
Hi, I'm Lourdes Stefan, host of Univision's Sal y Pimienta. Cancer doesn't just change the way you feel, it changes the way you look. From losing your hair, even your eyebrows, to changes in your skin and nails, cancer treatment can rob you of your confidence and self-esteem. But Look Good, Feel Better changes all that. More than 800,000 women have learned how to address the appearance side effects of cancer treatment through our workshops. Visit lookgoodfeelbetter.org to find a free workshop near you. Let Look Good, Feel Better help you feel like you again.
Well, Del Oro really needs something big here in this kickoff situation. If they can get a good return, that would certainly help them. Here's the kick. DiGiorno, it's taken outside the 5. Great downfield coverage and a double simultaneous hit, or was it 3 of them?
Yeah, he got sandwiched.
He sure did.
He did right there.
Hunter Lee. Cottrell was in on part of that with 2 other Bulldogs. And boy, was he greeted.
Big time. Well, the timing, catching up with his blockers and his intended wedge was not there. I mean, there were Bulldogs penetrating that wedge real quick like. He didn't have a chance.
There were 3 of them there. That was pretty vicious.
Now we have a new quarterback again.
Yes, we do. Stow fires out to the near side, incomplete.
That ball was behind him, low and behind him.
Higgins on the coverage. By the positioning alone, there was a chance to make that catch. But right now, the Eagles look rattled.
They sure do. And there's no continuity going on now with the exchange of quarterbacks going on here. And it's unfortunate they've gone away from their run game.
Well, they go back to it, and Condi is trapped and dropped. They were waiting for the run play. He had nowhere to go. Tough Bulldog D. Del Oro has not yet managed a first down in this quarter. We're halfway through. They have been completely stymied since their first possession.
They sure have been, and they've been the recipient of giving up big plays on defense. It doesn't take Folsom very long to score. If you look at time of possession, that's about the only thing in the favor of the Eagles.
3rd and 5, motion, passing situation. Everybody covered, now flushed and throws out of bounds. Well, outstanding secondary coverage, forcing the flush and throw. 4th and 5. Stow coming off the field, inherited a tough situation on both of his appearances tonight, and feeling the effects of a riled up #1 football team. Punt formation with 6:20 to go. We're midway second. Single safety, Badger. Punt, very short. And out of bounds again? My word.
Well, that kick.
Is that right?
That might be about an 8-yard punt.
A 2-yard effort. followed a 7-yard punt, a 9-yard punt. So a 9 and a 2. That won't do a lot for your average, Coach.
No, it certainly doesn't do much. And they're just defying them, putting everybody up front. Riesmeyer has had 6 for 12, 178 yards. We're not even at the half. 4 touchdown passes. Let's see if he goes up top again.
From the Del Oro 24-yard line, 1st and 10, triple wides to the near side for the Bulldogs, but whistles are going to halt play here. Delay of game.
5 yards, still first down.
My word.
Well, the way they're spreading this out here, exceptionally spreading it out, they got a 3-by-2, 3 to the wide side, 2 to the short side, and who knows, are they going upstairs or are they going to run the quarterback draw?
Riesmeyer, big blitz, but he gets it off. This could work for a big yardage to the left side, trying to get to the end zone, and does. A scoring play on a screen pass blitz. Lynch, the big guy, has himself a touchdown reception covering 29 yards. Wow. And that is touchdown pass number 5 in a quarter and a half.
Not shabby.
(34-8). Trying to tack on 35 is DiGiorno. Boot on the way and got it. At 6:04, midway second, the Bulldogs are really putting on a show. Here's the 5th of 5. Lynch takes care of the rest on the short screen. Stay with us. We'll be back for a lot more of the Hometown Sports Game of the Week.
What?
Bulldogs set to kick off. DiGiorno's already had a long workout in about a little more than a quarter. 5 touchdown passes. Jake Riesmeyer really lighting it up. The kickoff out of bounds. Touchback. And 1st and 10 from the 20 is where the Eagles will start. It's been a while since we've seen 5 TD passes that quick and that compacted. Well, it certainly looked hopeful for Del Oro after their opening possession, really playing some crisp football and taking an early 8-0 lead, but it's been 35 unanswered on the 5 TDs and PATs. Boy, that delayed run play just got eaten alive.
Well, right now, the front 4 of Folsom, Lynch, Springer, Melander, and Furry are controlling the line of scrimmage well. And quite frankly, they know they're going to see run and a team that's not very confident in their passing game. So they're loading up in there up front. And you're going to see a lot of heat applied as the Eagles keep changing quarterbacks here, trying to get in the rhythm and find a way to move the football.
Loss of 2, 2nd and 12. Blasted again as they try to run it up the middle, and you know, this Conde is a tough kid. They still couldn't take him off his feet, but there was no daylight.
Nowhere to go. If you at the snap of the football right now, the Folsom front 4 is controlling. as you see 57 come off the field. Lucas Springer taking a break, a little bit of limp there, but there you go. I don't know if he had that before the game or not, but believe me, he was in control of the line of scrimmage with the rest of that threesome, Lynch, Melander, and Furry.
Well, the Eagles 0 for 5 this quarter in the passing game. They're looking at a 3rd and 12 now from their own 18. Passing down. Stow might have to run it. He has to run it. Chased out of bounds. Nowhere to go.
Well, he got the ball off finally, but really to Stone King, but the ball was like a ground ball. Looks like they gave him a reception.
We've got a stoppage here from Ray Pulley. Penalty marker dropped. Grounding again. Wow, they're going to burn Del Oro here.
I thought they had a block in the back. He's over the line of scrimmage.
Okay.
He's over the line of scrimmage.
Well, not good for...
Illegal forward pass on the offense. 5 yards from the spot of the foul. Loss of down, brings up 4th down.
The hole continues to get deeper for visiting Del Oro here. Probably the worst thing they could have done was get that early TD. I think they may have awakened a sleeping giant.
Well, they did, and then suddenly their offense just went nowhere. They began to 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. And then you get 2 bad punts involved there where they got a total, I believe, of 16 yards on 2 punts. That didn't help matters either.
Well, they get a tremendous roll on that punt, get themselves out of trouble, out of their own territory. But Bulldogs have the ball again with 4 minutes to go in the half. That punt covering 51 yards after a 9 and a 2.
Well, we'll see what happens here. Once again, the Bulldogs with all kind of time on the clock, 4:02, plenty of time to go down and get another one.
Football at the Bulldog 34. This offense has really rolled with the passing game. He wants to throw again. Now he escapes. Big room, left sideline. Chased out of bounds after about a 20-yard run.
Well, I don't blame Jake for getting out of bounds. He's got the playoff season ahead of him. There's no need for him to take hits. Smartly, watch Jake. Riethmeyer flushes the pocket, finds room, takes the ball up the field. Unfortunately, a victim that's going to be called back.
Holding penalty will bust that fine play.
Yards from the spot of the foul. Replay, 1st down.
Ray Pulley, clear, loud, and definite. Lets us know what's going on.
Well,
much appreciated. Call it 1st and 23 from the 21. He wants to throw and fires left. Low strike, scooped. And a nice bite on 1st down, trying to make up the extra yardage. And Badger always seems to be open.
Well, he was. He came back to the ball very nicely. Big play, Badger. Watch him run his route. He comes back to the ball. Turns it up to the inside. Excellent job.
Isaiah Oates, the defender there. That was a mismatch. Now they're out to the 42-yard line. About 2 yards shy of a first. And a timeout taken here at the 3:22 mark. Stay with us because we're going to come back after this short break and continue with the Hometown Sports Game of the Week.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Well, the conference at the Bulldogs sideline has concluded. The timeout has expired. Dogs back onto the field. 2nd and 2 from their 42. Motion. Riethmeyer going for Hutton. Cannot haul that in. He was open earlier, and it was just a matter of uncoordinated timing on that.
Well, what's going on now is the Del Oro went into a 4-deep secondary, and the secondary people watch in their coverage here. You see him wide open, but unfortunately overthrown. But watch, they go 4 deep. They don't want to give up the bomb here now.
3 wideouts to the near side, 1 to the top, 2 to the top, all 5. Empty backfield. He's going to run it and gets outside for a little bit. Avoided the sack.
Well, if you saw the replay, watch him use his feet here, pitter patter, and then off he goes on the draw. They set you up. When they remove, have a look at this. Watch him move his feet.
Well, he got the necessary 2 yards, moved the stakes. 1st and 10, football at the 45. Motion shown. Riethmeyer guns one. He's got a man on a crossing pattern. His accuracy tonight has been terrific. Badger again running loose in that secondary. Another 1st down.
Well, Badger's running that inside route. Shields off the defender extremely well. Riethmeyer with all day to throw the football. And once again, as you see, Badger, a great receiver, protects the ball.
Bulldogs quick to the line of scrimmage. It was a line stunt by Del Oro, but no whistle. Time getting short here. Riethmeyer gets some pressure, fires a bullet, incomplete. Going for Badger again.
Well, they moved the pocket back that time. The defense, they came up front with a 5 or 6 man front and put some heat finally on Riethmeyer.
Just 26 yards rushing for Folsom. The whole show has been through the air. That's one of the few occasions where Badger did not make the grab. Condi, a deep drop to help defend on that. 241 passing yards for Riethmeyer here in the 1st half. Over the middle, broken up. And a late flag on Condi's coverage, or correction, on London's coverage. Lunder's with the inside position. That was a late flag.
Very late, very late. My goodness.
Well, Stone King, 80.
Pass interference on the defense, 15 yards from the previous spot, results in a 1st down.
Wow, everything going Folsom's way. Let's take another look. Was it Lunders or was it Stone King? That's number 10, Lunders. That looked clean to me. But I'm way up here. A fumble, and he's after it and falls on it. They lose.
He took his eye off the ball there. He was going to run that half roll and go deep. They moved that pocket on that half roll, and it's nice because that line just swings. It gives him protection to the onside. He goes downfield.
Clock stopping at the 2-minute mark. It'll bring up a 2nd and 17, football at the Eagle 34. 35-8, Folsom. Excellent protection, fire. A diving try for the interception. Cal Lunders plays the free safety position as good as anyone.
Well, that's one of the few times you saw Riethmeyer off course with the ball, really. That's rare.
Unless his receiver was off course.
Well, either way, He hasn't thrown many incompletes tonight. With a receiving core that he has with Broussard, Hutton, Badger, Anderson, Wolf, Cottrell, he's got 5, 6 at least outstanding receivers.
He's looking all the way left side, incomplete. Badger, the intended receiver, on a slant, but that play was off center.
Well, you know they're not punting, so it's 4th down and a good 15, 20 yards, and they got the receiving core that'll get that yards, and there's no need for them to punt the football. If they protect Riesmeyer, he's got 4 or 5 quality receivers to go to.
Gonna throw, looks left and fires to the sideline. He's got a hook up there. 1st down. Badger escapes, trying to get to the goal line. And just short. Nice little dance to get the extra 10. Condi helped finish that off. Elijah Badger.
All right. A lot of time to throw. Back in the pocket. Lets it go. Once again, turns in. Watch the move by Badger.
33 yards on the play. The 3rd time they've cashed in a 4th down for a 1st down. A blast at the goal line. Touchdown, Bulldogs. 6 touchdowns tonight, and that's the 1st on the ground. (41-8) after that. A minute 13 remaining here as DiGiorno's on for the 6th time in a conversion situation. Spotted, booted. They all look the same to me. He's got it. 1:13 left in the half. And here's how the Bulldogs score for the 6th time. Nagata with the short blast. We'll be right back for more of the Hometown Sports Game of the Week.
Na 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 na, I love you so. I love you, I love you. La 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 la, la 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 la.
We're here.
It's a short drive from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
Well, Mr. DiGiorno has had a full workout in the place, having 6 PATs and 6 ensuing kickoffs.
We came in here with 48 out of 48 conversions, Will.
And he's got himself another strong leg touchback out to the 20. 1st and 10 Eagles with 1:13 left.
It looked like it bounced off the goalpost in some ways. But Folsom with 11 plays, 2 minutes and 49 seconds, going 66 yards for another touchdown. 42 on the boards here before the half with 1:13 remaining. All Folsom.
All Folsom, and a heavy dose of Bulldog aerial firepower. 5 TDs through the air. And we'll see what the Eagles can do here in the final minute and what they attempt to do. Lewis back in at quarterback. He hands it to Condi. And 5 Bulldogs are there to put that play to rest. Is that what we've gotten to? Here, Sheldon, you take it.
Yeah, Condi for about 4 or 5.
Tough back.
Yes, he is. I'm impressed on how hard he runs. But I'll tell you, they need a lot of those with only 45 seconds remaining in the half. I think they want to just keep the ball to the half and not give the ball back to the Bulldogs.
That's probably a good idea. Little motion in the backfield there, and they hand off, and of course, there's no way in the world when you get defenders in the backfield waiting for you.
Well, it certainly is. It looked like the left side with that Bulldog front, Springer, Lynch, Mellon there, Furry have been in their backfield here from midway in that second quarter on. Other than that first drive, that was an impressive drive by the Del Oro interior line getting off the football, and Condi and Foster running hard. We haven't seen any of that for some time, since their first series, really.
Well, we are halfway home as the clock hits all zeros here at Prairie City Stadium, and after a very impressive and very brief offensive highlight by the visiting Golden Eagles of Del Oro, it was all Folsom firepower. Jump started with 5 Jake Reithmeyer touchdown passes, the first 3 to C.J. Hutton.
Well, yeah, he put on the show. Certainly Hutton being groomed by a number of colleges, and Cal Aggies feeling they have the first shot at him, or a good shot to land him. And it would be a great asset for anybody to get a slot back as good as Hutton.
We're at the intermission, and I do believe our partner Lauren Goodman may have a special guest down on the sideline, and if she's ready to roll, so are we. Here at the halftime intermission, 42-8. What you got, Goody?
Well, I'm here with the leader of the Bulldogs right now. Coach, you guys had a terrific first half. Talk to me about how you feel your team played.
You know, we got a lot of confidence in our defense, and we felt like we'd get a lot of possessions. Felt like we'd get a lot of pressure on that quarterback and get some stops. And so with that confidence, we're trying to be aggressive on offense and probably taking more shots than we're accustomed to, but it's going well, and keeping pressure on their defense the same way our defense is keeping pressure on their offense.
Now that you guys got it rolling, what is it going to take for you guys to sustain that level of intensity going into the second half?
You know, that's a huge challenge. That was a challenge for us starting the year in February, sustaining this momentum from the last couple of years. It was we had trouble with it last week when we were playing Grant High School, but these kids have been here. They've done that. They got to know they got to play all 4 quarters. This team won't go away. I've seen this team on this field down with the same amount of points at halftime come back and beat this team. Back in 2009. And that's our job as coaches, to make sure we hold kids accountable on everything we do, stay with it, stick with the game plan, and we'll have more success.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck in the second half.
Appreciate it.
Will.
Well, thanks, Goody. You know, Coach Doherty remembers that 2009 unbelievable comeback right here at this stadium. The Golden Eagles coming back from a 21-point fourth quarter deficit to win it by 1. But that remains to be seen if they can duplicate something as magnificent as that. Well, stay with us, because we're going to continue our halftime segment here when we come back from this break. So settle in and enjoy the view. We'll be right back.
These are cool. Did you, what did you?
Bye-bye. Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right.
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
Selfie. Nailed it.
Staring contest. You still got it. I know.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Welcome back. We're at the intermission here at Folsom High School in Week 10 of the regular season, and the host, Folsom Bulldogs, falling behind 8-0, rolling now 42-8. We're going to rejoin Lauren Goodman down at field level. She has a distinguished guest for us. Goody?
Yes, Will, I'm here with Howard Cadenhead, the principal of Folsom. Now, before you came on, we were getting a glimpse of the band. Can you talk to me about what's going on with the band right now, their performance specifically, and then what they're actually doing tomorrow?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We have our marching band is performing for the first time for us their full routine at halftime of the music that is from Game of Thrones, actually. And so we're kind of excited to get to see that today. And tomorrow they host a big marching band festival. I believe it's around 12 to 16 bands from all over California, Northern California. And that's on our site tomorrow. They perform at the end of that tomorrow night, which is kind of cool too. So.
Now, that's a great event. It seems like Folsom is just meeting the expectation in sports and all things athletically. How have you guys kind of feel like you set the tone for that high expectation and then excellence on and off the field?
Well, I mean, we have excellent programs all around, right? I mean, you see our music program is really second to none. Our jazz is amazing. Choir is amazing. I mean, we're getting ready for our musical in the fall of Shrek, and we have tons of kids involved in that. Our arts, I mean, our academics are obviously very strong. We're lucky to have really strong families and really strong leaders, really, is what that's all about as well. Strong teacher leaders on our campus that have great programs.
Now, you talked about the students. Tonight's senior night. Can you just tell me a little bit about your seniors on campus and what type of leaders they have been for the School of Folsom?
Yeah, we're going to miss them. I saw them lined up over there, and I thought, you know, I get a little bit sad seeing that they're going to leave. They've been really, really good kids. You know, we talk about that stuff, about being a leader on campus and displaying the behavior and the respect and that, you know, to our ninth graders as they come in and expecting that from them. And that's something that's been taking place here at Folsom for a long time. And that's a responsibility that they've owned, and we'll be sad to have them leave, but we have really good junior class as well.
Now, I see your face a ton on the sidelines, just supporting the kids. Can you talk to me about your visual impact on the students and how you kind of just try to lead the way as the principal?
Well, I'm kind of lucky. I have the greatest job ever. I just get to be a super fan, right? And we have hundreds of kids up in the crowd, you know, and I was saying the other day, you know, they have a great time, and they bring in music, and we never have issues with them. I mean, they're outstanding, and they love to have fun. We love to have fun with them, and so we just kind of get to be fans and support them.
Well, thanks, Howard. It's always great to chat.
Thank you.
Will.
Thanks, Goody. High C. Howard Cadenhead, one of the distinguished leaders of academia in this region. And, of course, he's certainly proud with great reason for that pride.
Yes, he is very proud, and I've known Howard a long time, back in his coaching days and his teaching days, and he went through the ranks of a great head coach, did a great job at El Camino, moved on to Rio and other places, and then Folsom was very, very fortunate to get him over here.
Well, we have selected this time, this exact moment, this point in time, to show you the weekly rankings called Domino's Dozen. The Imperator has once again assembled a boatload.
Well, there you have it. You're seeing, if you haven't seen Folsom before, and you've seen them in the first half tonight, you see how good they are, how explosive they are. Of course, they're still one. They've been one all season. They've been one for several years on our poll. Intercom number 2, Terry Stark's ball club, unbeaten, playing as we speak in Roseville with Joe Catolico's Tigers over there. Oak Ridge entertaining Elk Grove in a non-leaguer tonight up there. Monterey Trail having a great season with CJ. Capital Christian and another great year under Casey Del Oro here tonight, right at 6. Casuma's Oaks playing as we speak for a title match, entertaining Davis number 8. Center, Placer, another great year. Vista del Lago and Rockland rounding out our top 12. Elk Grove. Elk Grove we had last week here. Rio Linda, Granite Bay, Pleasant Grove, Jesuit in a game tonight versus Pleasant Grove, number 16 beating 17. Christian Brothers, Lincoln, and Roseville at number 20 trying to upset Intercom tonight over at Roseville. Antelope in that bubble right on the fringe trying to get back into the top 20. Antelope, Colfax, Rosemont, Casa Roble, and then Oakmont at number 25 having a good year.
Week 10. Domino's dozen. Now, you did mention some of those pairings at the top. It so happens that I have some scores here to share with you. Let's go ahead and start with that 7 versus 8. Davis visiting Casumnas Oaks, and it just happens to be at the half. Davis 20, Casumnas Oaks 7 at the intermission. Another score up the hill, not all that far from here in El Dorado Hills. Oak Ridge 17, Elk Grove 7. And we've got another here, Oakdale and Central Catholic 21-18 in the second. Oakdale on top. But Elk Grove trailing by 10, and Davis leading Casumnas Oaks by 13 at the half.
Well, Davis is for real. They're at Casumnas Oaks and certainly having their best team in a number of years, Will, and that game is for the title of the Delta.
Yes, it is, and you can best believe that after Casumnas Oaks defeated Elk Grove in Thundering Herd territory last week, that they had virtually everything going for them entering this Week 10 matchup with Davis with the title on the line, but it was the Blue Devils that so far have brought the A game.
But, of course, it's only at halftime. As we saw last week at Elk Grove, it was all Elk Grove in the first quarter and part of the second quarter, and then Casumnas Oaks woke up, and they played an outstanding second half and ran going away at Elk Grove. So that game is not over.
No, it is not over, and they're going to have to bring the same type of intensity and execution in that second half if they're going to get off the hook. We'll keep you posted. Rob Bimson is working. He's doing some scoreboard watching while compiling our stats, and as always doing a whale of a job. But those scores definitely hold some major significance as we enter the second half, so to speak, of our Week 10 results.
Well, it certainly has, and once again, we're being treated by a great band here, performing, giving us kind of a pre-show on what they're going to be doing here tomorrow, entertaining with 15 other bands.
That band has been in heavy competition. They take on all comers. They travel to the big music meets, and they are for real. Well, the numbers have been crunched. Let's take a look at first half stats, and oh my goodness, what a disparity.
Wow. Rushing yards and passing yards. Here you see the Eagles with 125 rushing yards and the Bulldogs with only 21. But they light them up in the air with the 274 yards versus 3. And, of course, total offense, most of that yardage that you see from Del Oro is in that first quarter and particularly in that first drive. Well, 295 to 128. First downs, 5-4. And you don't see a lot of first downs under the Bulldogs because they score immediately on the big plays. 1 down. Penalties, 2 for 17 against the Eagles, 5 against Bulldogs. Hasn't slowed them down a bit. 1 turnover. The Bulldogs had a fumble very early in this contest, and certainly the Eagles didn't take advantage of that. Time of possession is in the hands of the Eagles, 15:44 to 5:29. But once again, they haven't done much with that clock in terms of scoring other than that very first drive. And now, with only having the ball 5:29 and having 42 points on the board, you can see how quickly they lit them up with these bombs to outstanding receivers like Hutton and Badger. No problem. They can light them up and score quickly. So there you have your halftime stats as produced by Rob Bimson, doing another great job. He's been with us the majority of the season, and and really makes our job easier by supplying our stats and keeping us updated. But 42-8 in terms of the scoreboard, but certainly in 5 minutes and 29 seconds to produce 42 points is a lot of points in a short span of time with those big plays, Will.
And that is an understatement. Del Oro did succeed in controlling the clock, yet they're down 42-8. Let's give you some more scores. These are all halftime scores. Again, Oak Ridge 17-7 over Elk Grove. Capital Christian just a flimsy 7-0 lead over Vista Del Lago. Davis on top of Cosumnes Oaks 20-7. Inderkum and Roseville are locked up, but it's Inderkum 21-7 at the half. Whitney 28-0 over the Grant Pacers. I won't say another word about that. And the Center Colfax matchup, not what you may have expected. Center 47, Colfax 0. Oakdale now leading Central Catholic 14-10, and Rockland 15-0 over Granite Bay in another Sierra Foothill League matchup here in Week 10. So we will continue to share. Rio Linda 35-0 over Nevada Union. Del Campo leading Bella Vista 7-0. And Christian Brothers 6, Sakai 0. Not a good year for the Dragons.
No, not. Christian Brothers fighting for that second or third spot in that league. And, of course, that Vista match with Capital Christian is a good one. And I think that Coach Mike Strubing's Vista Ball Club is sometime really underplayed and underrated by many observers. But we've seen them, Will, and they do a great job there.
That's worth repeating. Underrated, underappreciated, year in and year out. Strubing has Vista Del Lago in the mix. They're excellent. We've televised them a number of times, and they always show big.
They certainly do, and it speaks well, and Mike and his staff do a great job.
We are at the intermission here on senior night, and I'd say a few of the seniors have come through big for the home crowd. Reithmeyer, Badger, Hutton, and a bunch of guys. So don't wander off. We got a whole half ahead of us. We'll be right back for more of the Hometown Sports Game of the Week.
It used to be simple. When I was young and couldn't figure things out, I asked for help. I let someone know when I got hurt, or scared, or sad. As I grew older, things got more complicated. Sometimes people let me down, so I solved my own problems. Then I joined the military. They trained me to be strong. I learned to carry my own weight, and sometimes the weight of others. Now that I'm home, it seems hard to fit back in. Reaching out is difficult because I want to do it on my own. Remember when you were young? Asking for help was simple. We asked for help. You don't have to do this alone. Veterans like us have faced similar challenges. We're not alone at MakeTheConnection.net.
Well, not far off. Second half action here at Folsom High School, where tonight in Week 10 on senior night here at Folsom, the host Bulldogs, the top-ranked team in the area for a long time, are demonstrating another classic example of why they are superior, leading at 42-8 over a very good Del Oro Golden Eagle Ball Club. We have a highlight package for you, and in the early going, it was C.J. Hutton. You'll see here on this receiving end, this is what got the Bulldogs going after they were trailed 8-0, and Stone King can't catch him. Hutton, too much, 70 plus on that one. These are all going to go to C.J. Hutton. Secondary choice there after looking right. Leaping grab in the corner. Lunders was there defending. Double coverage. Nice acrobatics, C.J. And here's the third of 3. And he's going to have to work on this. It's a catch and run. He makes the grab, stops on a dime, and then dives for the pylon to make 6. So C.J. Hutton teaming with Jake Riethmeyer, putting on a nice show there for 3 consecutive scoring connections.
Well, that's a lot more to add to his highlight films, which I'm sure he's got having a 3-year career here, scoring many touchdowns during Folsom's just dominating the league and going far in regionals and state level. So congrats to Hutton, C.J. Hutton. And let's credit the guy that got him the ball, Riethmeyer. He put the ball on the money and then let Hutton do the rest. And let's credit that front line of McMahon, Cazzini, Harrison, Christensen, and Sorensen for giving him excellent pass protection.
No doubt. He had a nice comfort zone in that pocket. Did not have happy feet. Kept his concentration and put the ball on the money often enough to register 5 touchdown passes. And besides Hutton, he had himself another reliable receiver.
Well, here's Badger also. Elijah Badger over 100 yards as well with 5 receptions. Now, you're looking at 2 of the top receivers. Badger is one of the premier receivers rated by some of the combines as one of the top receivers in the country. And then you got C.J. Hutton. Up and down the coast, the colleges are looking at him, and if in fact Cal Aggies get him, Coach Hawkins is getting a dream receiver.
Let's check in with our pal, Lauren Goodman. What you got, Goody?
Coach, you maximized all your time in that locker room. Can you tell me about the talk with your team?
Obviously we're just talking about one play at a time in the second half. Trying to win one play at a time. There's no play in football where you can score 34 points on one play, so we're just going to try to take it one play at a time, and obviously play with pride and poise that we have come to expect out of us.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Will.
Thanks, Goody. Yes, the key word there, the key word pride. That is a foundation for Del Oro, and certainly I would expect Coach Walter's team to give 100% in this second half, and I'm wondering to what extent Coach Doherty might be significantly shuffling his lineup, and to the idea that Ari Patu might take some snaps at the quarterback position.
Well, it would not surprise me. We've seen a little bit of him. I watched him in the Rockland game, and he's very athletic. He's got a better mastery of the offense now than when we saw him back at the De La Salle game roughly 5 weeks ago. And he's the heir apparent to succeed Riethmeyer. So who knows? We'll see a little bit of him. And the next question I ask is, due to the fact that Danny Nagata has been nursing a leg injury a good part of the season, how much will he be used in the second half in order to keep him healthy for the playoffs?
I don't know the answer to that, but I do know that they don't need him in the second half, and they probably don't need the services of a number of their frontline players. And Coach Doherty, I imagine will regulate his lineups accordingly. So that's a good, comfortable position to be in as far as Nagata's concerned, if he still is recovering from injuries sustained early in the season. And of course, that's why his rushing totals are far from what we know he's capable of.
Well, yeah, far more in his junior year. Now, I'm going to run back, go back to Riethmeyer, because sometimes, again, he doesn't get his due. I mean, he had 25 TD passes coming in, or 26 tonight. We know he's got 5 already, so he's already in the 30s. 274 yards at the half. The average catch tonight in the first half by the Bulldogs, and Riethmeyer is 27.4 yards. And I'll tell you, anytime you get into double figures, anytime you're over 15, that's extremely high on any level, average yards per catch.
Well, all of Hutton's TD receptions were well over 30, and Badger had at least 3 catches that were all over 30 yards. So the mileage is piling up.
Well, that was a long half, Will, and hopefully both teams warmed up a little bit and take a little time to warm up because the temperature has certainly dropped.
As we expected it would. No, it's a brisk evening here. A little higher elevation up here at Folsom, and definitely not what I would consider short sleeve weather. Both clubs back on the field. 58 degrees presently after a high today of 76, so it's continuing to fall. And the Golden Eagles will be kicking off. I imagine that cannot be too comforting for Coach Walters, having to immediately give this Folsom offense the football.
Well, I think putting them with a decent kickoff, certainly to try to put them in decent field position and not the short field. They've given a lot of short fields tonight because of the short punts.
A chip shot. Run back to the near side. The flag flies. Hutton, is very, very cagey, and that's going to be another penalty. He was tackled out of bounds.
We got 2 penalties on this, a late hit out of bounds, and then we got an early penalty back 20 yards along the left.
I hope that was just a careless one-time only penalty. Don't need any of that. He was clearly out of bounds. 24 yards on the Hutton run back. He covered a lot of ground laterally on that and still had some kick to turn it up.
Well, he did. See how they decipher this now. We've got 2 flags out there.
One against each team. The first flag was against the Bulldogs early in the run back.
During the return, 10 yards from the foul, first down.
Well,
okay, there it is there. Boom! That was at least 4 yards out of bounds. If you had seen that, it would have shown how flagrant that was. First and 10. Bulldogs with great field position at their own 41. And we are underway here in the third quarter. This will be the first play from scrimmage. Stack up the right side, and here's Nagata in motion. He runs it himself. Riethmeyer breaks it. Big speed. And Lunders finally shoves him out near the 15-yard line to prevent a quarterback sneak touchdown.
Well, you watch it again. They pull their right guard on the draw. Watch the guard pull and lead them. Here he comes. And he got tight ropes that sideline, knocked finally out of bounds by Lunders.
One of the Eagles was shaken up there on the sideline after that hit. Lunders finally driving Riethmeyer out of bounds, but not before he'd chewed up 47 yards. That'll get your stats up.
Well, it certainly will.
Here's Ray Pulley again. Penalty. So they park the football at the 26-yard line.
Well, I think he stepped out of bounds.
He did. Let's take a look at the replay on the late hit again. It was Lunders, and he got drilled on a protection by J.J. McMahon.
Well, it's a little late. The run he'd already been out of bounds.
Yeah, Lunders, wonder what fell on him there.
Well, as you mentioned, we don't need those kind of things on either side. Once again, you want to stay healthy for the playoffs, and hopefully you don't want those late hits to occur at any time.
Okay, now this series here is going to give an indication of how much fight and how much heart the Golden Eagles have, trailing it here 42-8 with their first possession. And on defense, let's see what they can do. There's another hookup inside the 5, a leaping grab on a high strike to Badger.
But he protects it. If we see Shannon's right there with him, but he screens Shannon off. You'll see him turn his body and screen Shannon off. Watch it, here we go, with a leaping catch.
24 yards on that connection. Football. First and goal from the 2. Fire to the right side, easy touchdown. That was undefended basically. And Dylan Richard with the grab. The reserve fullback leaks out to the end zone and has himself a touchdown reception, number 6 on the evening for Reithmeyer.
Well, they made that look easy. Like Richard came out of the backfield and no one covered him.
So, DiGiorno back to work.
DiGiorno with 48 going into tonight, plus 6 is 54. This could be number 55.
That was a low miss.
Well, there was something on a hold there. If we see that.
Well, there's the Richard grab, undefended, and they're on the board again. We'll be right back.
Staring contest. You still got it. I know.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
These are cool. Did you, what did you?
Well, the Bulldogs just keep pouring it on, as we've seen them do for more than a decade. On top, 48-8. There's our quick 40 response. At the 1 yard line, they're going to come out with it, and that's not a good idea. Ill-advised. And dreadful field position upcoming for the Eagles.
Well, certainly that's what they don't need. When their first touch of the second half, as you see a Bulldog just stretching it out there on the sidelines, it looked to be nothing more than a cramp, and I'm sure they'll get them stretched out.
We played scarcely 4 minutes here in the third quarter. The 7 touchdowns represent more touchdowns than minutes of possession by the top-ranked team in the area. That's quite a stat. Thank you, Rob.
Well, we know they had the ball only 5 minutes and change the whole first half, and added 27 seconds more on that drive.
They gain a couple on first down, 2nd and 8 from the 9.
Well, once again, Delaware Eagles in a hole, and let's see what they can get out of here and get themselves some decent field position and get up the field.
Stone King into the game as a wide receiver, and it's a pass play, but he's flushed out. Stow running for the sideline, blasted out of bounds by Dylan Richard. Take another look at that. You can see there was little protection for, I misidentified that, it's Lewis on the run being chased here. And Dylan Richard from behind. 1st and 10 from the 19 on the scramble.
Well, that's what Lewis is known for, his running. Only a sophomore, good-sized youngster who loves to run the football, and I'm sure he'll go to a lot of quarterback camps this summer.
A fumble, and as he faked it, and he's going to be sacked inside the 10, a big loss. We have seen so many mishandles at the quarterback position by both teams, probably 6 or 7 at least.
Well, we have, and let's look at that. Well, it was on the exchange, yes. Wow.
Condi may have inadvertently knocked that out of his hands with his elbow on a fluke. Wouldn't mind seeing that again. But there's Navarro, who's played well and run support from the secondary.
He certainly has. He's a hard-hitting safety. Dominic Navarro, number 21.
Loss of 10. Look at this overloaded near side. 4 receivers. A flush and a sack and a fumble. Oh my goodness. Here's a fumble return to the far corner. Touchdown Bulldogs on a short fumble return, scooped up and run in.
Khalib Higgins is right there. Wow.
Ray Pulley trying to pull things together, and now they're going to allow it. They're not calling it a fumble. They're calling it a forward pass, evidently, and incomplete. So no touchdown, premature celebration, 48-8 on the scoreboard. His arm was moving forward when he got hit. And that's the definitive detail in the Ray Pulley call. The ball went backward, so Paul Doherty there, but here's a replay now. He's getting flushed. One hand, carrying the ball with one hand. Boy, oh boy. So no turnover, no touchdown. 3rd and 20 on the reversal. Condi in motion. Draw play up the middle. Big running room. What can he do with it? Not quite enough with the room that he had, but it's going to be a first down unless a penalty neutralizes that on the play by Foster. So this third quarter has unraveled, so to speak, at least in continuity. Penalty, 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 penalty. Ray Pulley, though, taking charge.
Personal foul on Folsom. We got a dead ball, personal foul on Del Oro. Those penalties will offset the result of the play. The first down.
The result of a 23-yard run as the penalties offset, personal fouls being exchanged, and the game getting a little chippy, Coach.
Well, it is. Temperatures are flaring, and Del Oro is getting tired of being pushed around, and you see both sides after the play. They got to be real careful. You don't want to lose a player through disqualification because he doesn't play the next game,
which would be a playoff opener. Back to action. Here's a bullet intended for no one in particular. And the player is very unhappy right now. The Folsom players are very unhappy. One is being restrained from the other, and that's rather difficult to believe with a 40-point lead.
Well, the coaches have got to use, you see the players trying to control it, and now one of the players coming out, I think wisely, removed from the field by his coaching staff. Outstanding player, but he's got to keep cool, sit him out for a few plays and cool off.
Grant Fury, starting defensive end, highly upset and now cooling off a little bit, as that'll bring up a 2nd and 10 football at the Del Oro 33. 4 wides, 2 to each side. Condi, the lone back. And he's got the pill, and he's going to be hit for a loss. Boy, oh boy. There's 4 red shirts right there. And
they look fired up. The defensive front now, well, he had his shot. He outstanding. Furry is back in the game, but you know what? Give credit to number 30, Khalil Habib, for coming in there, and I'll tell you, he was in that backfield
rather quickly. 3rd and 11 from the 32. Stow throws off the fingertips along the sideline, incomplete, and coverage out there by Higgins. 4th down upcoming.
Well, trying to go to Aiden Mack, who's had a good season this year, trying to go long to Mack. Time to throw. And there you see Mack actually pretty well covered, running out of field. Excellent job in that secondary by Higgins.
So the Eagles show punt formation. Badger, the solo Bulldog safety, stationed outside the Folsom 40-yard line. The punting game has not been a bright spot for Del Oro this evening. They've had 2 punts under 10 yards. That one will net quite a bit more with no return. And roughing the kicker, oh my word. That'll get you in good with your boss, up 40.
Well, these are the times that you don't want those kind of penalties, because the game is well in hand. There's no need for you to do things of that nature, because that's the little stuff that beats you in the big games.
It is indeed, and let me take this moment here to, well, Ray Pulley's going to straighten something out for us here, I guess.
Go.
Let's have it, Ray. Come on. We can take it.
Give us the facts here.
So are they going to walk off a penalty from where the punt was downed?
Well, that's why I don't believe it was roughing the kicker. It's had something else occurred. If we can get some mechanics here to us.
Okay, they're forthcoming. Our evening growing colder.
Well, Coach is having a little chat with one of his team members.
The flag was thrown down here, way in the backfield off the punt. Here we go. Okay.
We got a personal foul on the return team. 15 yards. 1st down.
Well, there's a little confusion here among our knowledgeable people, well-schooled in officiating.
That's why I think that someone got a little out of hand with the hand usage down there. And apparently it didn't have anything to do with maybe the punter or maybe after the punt. But, wow.
Well, Coach Walter's not pleased with the turn of events. However, there's continuing conversation across the field to satisfy his curiosity. And that gives me an opportunity to update another score. And I know Lauren Goodman will appreciate this update because it originates from Elk Grove, where Davis has extended its lead to 27-7 with less than 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter.
Well, that speaks well of Davis with a quarter to go.
That's right, living up to their record that showed only one loss. Okay, quarterback run it. And he just swiped the helmet right off that defender.
Well, I thought Patu would be getting some action, and he does, and I'm glad to see him getting some action here as we see.
Wow, that was a remarkable play there. Aiden Mack, the defender, just got his helmet swiped right off his head by Patu.
Well, if that thing is buckled up properly, that's not coming off that easy.
No gain, 2nd and 10 from the 19. Over the middle, complete on that hookup. Oh boy, Badger's always open. And that one was no exception. First down.
Well, it's
move the chains, first down at the 42. The Bulldogs have had 4 touchdown drives of 3 plays or fewer tonight. Patu fires left, it's broken up, deflected out of there by number 9, Aiden Mack.
Once again, Patu getting his opportunity to run the Bulldog offense. He's the heir apparent to that quarterback position for next year.
Have we had enough personal fouls this evening to last us for a while? Ray Pulley doing a whale of a job here, leading this officiating crew.
Dead ball, personal foul on the offense. 15 yards, the down counts, 2nd down.
Well, you know, those penalties are rigidly enforced, and why not? So there's Patu, R.E. Patu, junior QB, new to the area. Looked like he was going to quarterback draw, but nowhere to go.
No, Delaware defense stood in there and did not go for the fake. Black, Vesky, and company did a good job there. 55, Carter Munch in on the play. Now I'm trying to look to see if that's a new offensive line in there for Folsom, or they have their starting 5.
Well, whatever it is, it's 3rd and 30. New players being rotated in. He wants to throw, looks right all the way. Has a hook up to a wide open receiver, and it's first down yardage. And that play for his first touch as a receiver this evening, Zach Cottrell. 29 yards.
Wide open Cottrell. Has Patu back to pass. He spots him right smack in the middle. Nice catch with Cottrell. Plays some tight end as well as wide.
From the Del Oro 48-yard line, fresh set of downs. Patu fires again. Deep throw, wide open. Grabbed. Incomplete. Wow. On 2 occasions this evening, Badger has one in the first half was going to be a definite touchdown. That one was going to probably be a touchdown as well. And in between, he has dazzled with 2 fistfuls of catches and big yardage to show for it.
Well, it's rare when you see him drop one. Rare. One of the premier receivers in the area and the West Coast, being heavily recruited.
Hutton in motion, but Patu fires left. Misses his intended receiver there, and that's going to bring up 3rd and 10 from the 48.
Well, we've had this whole second half, we've had a rash of penalties. We've had a number of substitutes coming in. suddenly the play has, the tempo of the game has changed as you look at the coaching staff at Folsom trying to get players in the game.
They rush. It's a screen to Hutton. He picks his way, and he's going to dash 30, 20 to the sideline. He's in there. Touchdown, Bulldogs. C.J. Hutton from 48, Patu to Hutton. And that is his 4th touchdown reception of the evening. (54-8). And I wonder, will that change the timing element in tonight's contest?
Well, I don't think that.
There's the kick on the way and got it. 55-8, and here's the throw. Patu, a short flip to Hutton. He gets the block and then shows some speed, and they can't catch him. We'll be right back for more of the Hometown Sports Game of the Week.
Up to 40% of businesses never recover after experiencing a major disaster. Make a plan at ready.gov/business.
There you see the Bulldogs lining up to kick off. And as has been the case all evening, DiGiorno parks it in the end zone for a touchback out to the 20, 1st and 10, Del Oro. (55-8). What a demonstration of offensive firepower we've seen tonight. Unfortunate that the game has been marred to that extent in the penalty department, but boy, have we seen some offensive action, as we thought we would. Roll and fire. There's a completion along the near sideline. About a 10-yard pickup on the toss to Mack. And again, I guess you could call it spirited tackling, but there's no love lost down there.
Well, there's not, and it's another late hit. And it seems to me that with the amount of these late hits and dead ball fouls, that the coaches have, got to do something. What's happening? Some of these new players.
Personal foul on the defense. 15 yards from the end of the run results in a first down.
That's at least 10 personal foul penalties.
I don't know if I've seen that many dead ball personal fouls in any one contest or in any one quarter.
1st and 10 from the Del Oro 44, and complete on that toss. Football at the Del Oro 44-yard line. The Golden Eagles reeling from a staccato of long touchdowns cashed in through the air. Stow rolling, looking, has to keep it, and slides ahead for a probable first down.
All right, that's a good job. He, rather than force the ball or throw a pick, excellent job. Turns a corner, and that's the best run and one of the best decisions that quarterback Logan Stow has made this evening. Perhaps you know, he's getting into the tempo of the game now. He hasn't played much this year due to injury, and looks like he's getting into it. He's got decent field position to work with.
From the Folsom 46, they run the football and make 2, maybe 3 on the lunge ahead. And I must say that Sheldon Conde is one of the tough backs we've seen this year.
He is. And even behind in this football game by a large margin, he runs hard, and he's everything I heard about him. So I'll give him a plus, and despite the scoreboard, but he's still going hard every down and after contact.
Yes, he is. Gain of 2, 2nd and 8. Here's a pass. He was open for a minute, but Badger picked it off at the 30, and he might just take it home. Big speed, near sideline, and you can pretty much forget about that. It's not Badger, it is Broussard, the Cosumnes Oaks transfer with the pick 6 for about 70 yards. Cam, the Bam.
Yeah, we saw him last year with, it looks like it's coming back.
Well, what else is new? Penalty marker on the play, and it looks like this one's going to be coming back and neutralized. Tough luck, Broussard, but you got the look.
Personal foul, roughing the passer on the defense. 15 yards, automatic first down.
Well, roughing the passer. My. Now, at this point in time, when we've seen that over and over and over and over, what's a coach to say to his team?
Well, the only thing he can do is he can pull that player out that's committing those fouls. At the next timeout, if he hasn't already, maybe use a timeout and talk to the whole football team at once, because they're not getting the message. Now, it's almost at the point out there, if you do this to me, I do this to you, I've got to, get even, get up or get evenship.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on. Conde for 5. Make it 2nd and 5 from the 24.
But like I say, no player has been disqualified yet, and I hope that doesn't happen.
We don't need that. Clock rolling, 3:25 to go, late third. It's 55-8. Folsom on top, 4 wideouts shown by the Eagles. They run off tackle right, and that's sufficient for a first down, I believe. And there's one tough back right there. First down. So back-to-back 5-yard runs. And a fresh set coming up for the Eagles, who have not scored since the first 90 seconds of the game.
That's true. They scored on the first drive. 80 yards, 3 plays, 57 seconds. So you're right.
Okay, they go left. There's an opening to the 5 and a pile up and a shove back. So they're it makes the 10-yard line.
Once again, Conde running for tough yards.
Yes, he
running
is.
Off tackle. Very impressive young man running hard.
Gain of 8. Second and 2 upcoming. Football at the 10. Triple wide to the near side.
Stout getting a new play in from the sideline. Changing plays, checking his wristband.
He hasn't gone back to Dylan Shannon, number 6, for a long time. They stay on the ground. Look at the pile move forward. Sheldon Conde.
Conde with great yards.
Man.
He runs as hard as any halfback we've seen this season, Will.
You bet. excellent. 5'11", 190. Another look at this determination.
Watch him move the pile. Inside handoff, running hard. Watch his legs. Drive, spin.
To the one. Boy, that was impressive. 3 Bulldogs there.
You better wrap up. You better wrap up on Mr. Condi. Let me tell you, he'll move you in the end zone.
From the one. A loose football. He's back to grab it and throws on the run. And it's a diving try, but unable to come up with the interception. Merely an incomplete pass.
Well,
coverage in the secondary and that emergency was very tight, but
yes, it was. But give Condi credit because he was not going to take a loss.
Blackwell tried for the pick, number 9. So it's a 2nd and goal from the 1.
Goes as an incomplete pass as we're coming to the end of the third quarter here, and the Eagles having an opportunity to get on the scoreboard again.
He sneaks at the goal line, but whistles may have busted this play before the snap.
Well, it's offside on the defense, and they'll refuse it. Touchdown. Apparently called it before the touch. He went over. He's not giving him an option.
No, there is no option. Let's keep it orderly, guys. 4 substitutes come in for Del Oro. And the football is just about kissing the goal line right now. Time out? No time out. Just a sideline conference with Coach Walters.
Got to get the playoff, though. You don't need to delay a game here.
No. There they are, packed in tight. Smack it, and a dive. Touchdown, Eagles, but.
Well, I'm glad Condi got the call because he's well deserving.
Call it a 1-yard touchdown smash. Sheldon Condi, who has been what could be considered the lone bright spot this evening for the visiting Golden Eagles.
Well, Condi running real hard.
The Eagles line up for the PAT. Shepard, pretty steady from there. Just 1 miss on the season. Also a good field goal kicker. Blocked! Leaking through. Blackwell from the right defensive side with the deflection. And it stays 55-14. Sheldon Condi, power plus. He saw the opening and took it. We'll be right back for more of the Hometown Sports Game of the Week.
Na 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 na, I love you so. I love you, I love you. La 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 la, la 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 la.
We're here.
Yay!
It's a short drive from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
The Del Oro Golden Eagles, as you see Blackwell take the field after that block PAT. Eagles back on the board. Despite the block, they've got 14 points. Condi, 6 carries on this drive for 31, including the touchdown smash. But earlier in the ballgame, of course, we remember he had a 61-yard run and had lots of stuff in between. I imagine he's safely over the 100 mark for yards gained.
A good hard-nosed back. He runs north-south, and I believe as a junior, I'm sure that Coach is looking forward, Coach Walters is looking forward to have him back next year. They always seem to have a good running back there, and he's falls in that line.
Well, there's the kickoff return, and he got away from those 2 tacklers. What an effort. Blackwell feeling good about that block kick. Looking good on the kickoff return.
Yes, he does. He's got a lot of bounce in his step. He's a very impressive athlete. Very impressive athlete.
A minute 3 remaining here in the third. The teams traded touchdowns in the last couple of minutes.
Well, you got Dorian and Davion Blackwell. I'll tell you, impressive. One's a junior, one's a senior, and that senior Davion's having a pretty good night.
Well, Ari Patu back on at quarterback. Hands off on first down. They try to come wide to the near side. Minimal yardage on that play. There wasn't much room there at all on the reverse, and they've sure got a lot of talented wide receivers on this crew. That was Mitch Anderson, but a holding call is going to blow this play up.
Well, Mitch Anderson, the junior transfer from Oak Ridge High School, played last year, did a great job for Coach Cavalier and his group, and decided to make a transfer move over to the Bulldogs and getting his chance to play.
Well, they called his number to give him a taste right there, and you can't really do much if you can't get the touch. So Ari Patu, his team moved back now, 1st and 23 from the 20. Look right, look left, flush, and hit from behind and drilled. Got 5 yards on the scramble to the 25. Second and 18, final 30 seconds of the third quarter. Anderson in motion, gets a draw play handoff, and he's gobbled. Welcome to the show. That was a nice greeting he received there from Andrew Townley, 75.
It certainly is.
There's a good shot of Mitch and Mr. Townley. We've played 3 here. 55-14, the Bulldogs rolling. We'll be right back.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
We have moved into the twilight zone now, fourth quarter action. They change ends of the field, and Patu has a 3rd and 18 to work with. He fires over the middle, has a hookup shy of the first down. Nice job on concentration there. Is that DiGiorno? I believe so. They're about 4 yards short. They're at the 39, 4th and 4.
They really like Dre DiGiorno getting a chance at wide receiver and doing an outstanding job as their kicker.
Yeah, and he took a hit on that too. He had the clutch. 4th and 4. Patu fires right, overthrows his receiver, incomplete, and the ball goes over. Reagan Arney with the coverage there for the Eagles. So Del Oro, 1st and 10, takes over. Football parked at the Folsom 39. And the running clock has been activated with about 10:40 to go. Not a lot of factors will stop the clock, so the Eagles limited time here to see if they can put some points on the board. They show 4 wide receivers. Bearview's in the slot. Room up the middle, but tackled from behind. That was an outstanding job right there to trap Stow. Saxton Brown doing the honors. He gains a yard on the scramble. Could have had a lot more if Brown hadn't made the play. Second
Certainly
9.
was. That was a big.
It was.
Yeah, it was going to be a big gainer, 10, 15 yards on that one if Brown didn't get in there.
3 wides to the far side. Turn and give. Not much there. Short yardage.
Yeah, we have a new ball carrier in the game there.
$9:10 to go as we have running clock. 3 wide receivers to the right. Stow wants to throw and gets flushed out of there. Throws on the run, and he's got a hook up right there.
Yeah.
Nice job getting free from the rush. That was Dylan Shannon. Let's take a look.
Nice, plenty of time to throw. Still flushes the pocket. I think he's comfortable out of the pocket. Stow hitting Shannon. Nice job shielding off, picking up a nice 15-yarder, moving the chains. A little more than that, like 23.
So they've got a first down at the 14. He looks left, now has to flush and run and keep it to the 10, bounce it, driven out at about the 8. This game came off its hinges early, actually in the first quarter, and continued to decimate throughout the first half. But a most impressive offensive performance despite a rash of penalties that have marred the game. Quite an offense. 55 unanswered. At the goal line, touchdown, Golden Eagles. And that play was wide open in the middle.
Well, it was, and you're seeing a lot of clean red shirts in there in that Folsom defense.
That makes it 55-20, the score coming at the 7:19. So a couple of late TDs for the Eagles, little window dressing to clean up the score some. Shepard for the PAT, chip shot, and got it. Another look at the run play right up the gut that was undefended.
Read option, yes.
We'll be right back for more of the Hometown Sports Game of the Week.
What?
The Golden Eagles are back on the scoreboard. It's 55-21 in a one-sided ball game that became one-sided as early as the second quarter in the wake of 5 Jake Riethmeyer touchdown passes and continued to escalate thereafter.
Yes, it has. And Del Oro made that a fast one. 5 plays in 3:15.
Short kickoff, bobbled, grabbed, and he got away. He went up the sideline and nearly got to the 40. So good concentration after the bobble, and Anderson did a nice job there after the initial muff.
Well, it appears they turned off the running clock.
But it also appears that there's yet another penalty. Woo-wee. Ray Pulley will have further clarification.
Yeah, I think
on the
we
kicking team, 5 yards, first down.
Face mask, huh? Well, let's make a grab. Okay, first down at the Folsom 40. They stay on the ground, and it's a gang tackle exercise. Anderson paying the price there.
Well, we got a lot of clean jerseys on the field on both sides of the ball. Down to about 5:40 remaining in this football game, and a lot of people, young men, getting their chance to play here tonight.
2nd and 12 after the loss of 2. Paw 2. High and low. It's another loss. It'll bring up 3rd and 15. Well, nice tackling effort that time. 408 yards passing for Folsom this evening.
Well, I probably have run for, I wouldn't doubt if, I know it's under 100 yards, but they didn't have to run the football with that passing attack.
It was unnecessary. Great protection, and a wide open receiver dragged down just outside the 40-yard line on a play that just continues to perpetuate the success of the Folsom passing attack. And that was a nice tight spiral right there.
Well, Patu really showed me something there.
Thomas Cone, 24 yards to Cone here. Boom. Nice tackle from behind. He's a big receiver. Here's a breakaway. Cone to the 10. Dropped inside the 5. Oh, my.
He is a big receiver.
No, Cone is huge.
He looks bigger than 6 feet 185, let me tell you that. If you ask me to guess, that's what they list him. Wow, that's a big receiver.
Mm-hmm. On 2 occasions, back to back, he's caught from behind. And there it is. 38 yards on that one after the 24. And they're set up deep in the red zone. Anderson cannot get in. Banging on the door, but good resistance there by the Eagles. And again, we got to credit Andrew Townley, 75. So back-to-back catch and runs of 24 yards and 30 yards. Put the ball inside the 5. 2nd and goal from the 2. 2:50 to go in the game. Handoff, run right, and that's going to be a touchdown. I don't even think he was touched. Anderson scores for the Bulldogs. Give him 6.
Anderson with his first touchdown
as a
Bulldog. We know he scored a few up there in Oak Ridge last year as a young sophomore.
Yes, he did. That's where we kind of took a shine to him, and I wonder how he's enjoying his emergence here with the Folsom Bulldogs. 61-21. PAT on the way and got it. Let's take another look, as this was a rather easy touchdown here. He ran to the daylight and said, "Is that all you got?" We'll be right back for more of the Hometown Sports Game of the Week.
Hi, I'm Lourdes Stefan, host of Univision's Sal y Pimienta. Cancer doesn't just change the way you feel, it changes the way you look. From losing your hair, even your eyebrows, to changes in your skin and nails, cancer treatment can rob you of your confidence and self-esteem. But Look Good, Feel Better changes all that. More than 800,000 women have learned how to address the appearing side effects of cancer treatment through our workshops. Visit lookgoodfeelbetter.org to find a free workshop near you. Let Look Good, Feel Better help you feel like you again.
It's kickoff time for the Bulldogs, and boy, have they done a lot of that tonight. Sheldon Conde, 19 tough carries, 120 yards. Exemplary performance under the circumstances.
Oh, yes, without a doubt. Played hard every snap. Yards after contact were tremendous. Showed a lot of courage out there. Well, we have one more illegal procedure, moving the ball back 5.
It was a penalty on the kickoff formation.
Well,
now, what am I to think about that, Coach?
Well, if we don't have them during, we have them before. And if we don't have them before and during, we have dead ball fouls.
Well said.
7 and 3 red.
Okay, we got a new kicker here. He toes it. It's a blast. And coming to the near side, Stone King to the middle of the field. Breaks a tackle and slides across the 25 to about the 28. And with 2.5 to go, that is where the Golden Eagles will set up shop. "13 penalties on Folsom this evening, Coach."
Amazing. And a lot of dead ball fouls. This is what I don't like. That's after the whistle, after the play is over. I don't like those dead ball fouls. I never did, because there's something that's occurring that shouldn't occur.
Well, Stow has had an opportunity to play extensively tonight because of this lopsided score. And a flag flies, Coach.
Well, we also have a lot of young players in the football game here and getting some experience the first time. I'm not making excuses for them. It's just that they still got to learn to control their bodies and stay disciplined, despite it be a strong contact game. So as we're coming to the end here, let's hope we don't see any more dead ball fouls and finish this game healthy.
1st and 15 from the 21. Twin wides to both sides. Well, they run the football right into a giant pile as we have reached the 1-minute mark in tonight's contest. 62 points on the board. I would say that's a productive evening for the Bulldog offense.
I would say so. They had 42 at the half, so with 62, they scored 20 in the second half and had 42 in the first half. And Del Oro with certainly 2 touchdowns in the second half here, with only 1 in the first 57 seconds of the game to start with.
2nd and 12. They run motion and hand off to the motion man and get a couple. That may be the final play in tonight's contest, and I do believe it is. 62-21. Folsom nails down an impressive Week 10 victory to complete the regular season 6-0 in the Sierra Foothill League and improve to 9-1 overall, while Jeff Walters' game Del Oro Golden Eagles slip now to 3-3 in the Sierra Foothill League and 6-4 overall, but there will be another day for Del Oro. They will make the playoffs. There you see on the field the good sportsmanship between these two squads, despite the infighting, bickering, and chippy play throughout a good part of tonight's contest, Jim.
Well, that's the part I didn't want to see. You know, we have two outstanding coaches here and their staffs, and you know, again, I know they don't like to see it either, because I'm sure as they look at the film, they're going to have a chat with their players, and you know, sometimes late hits and dead ball fouls become contagious, and you want to get even, and that's not the way the game is played. So.
No, it's not, and nobody can admire a play like that, but sometimes in the heat of battle with emotions running high and this and that, we see some of that. But the bottom line tonight is another superlative offensive effort by the host Bulldogs. 62 is usually enough to take care of most of them.
Well, yeah, it is, and you see players and parents and everybody coming together. Big senior night here. A nice crowd here on the Folsom side, and actually a good showing on the visitor side with Del Oro. They follow their team well.
Yes, they do. Loyalty, and they travel well. Stay with us. We're going to take a break, but when we come back, we'll be entering our post-game segment, and that includes Lauren Goodman's interviews with our players of the game and quite possibly the winning coach. Stay with us.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, split a ride home.
Hi, I'm Lourdes Stefan, host of Univision's Sal y Pimienta. Cancer doesn't just change the way you feel, it changes the way you look. From losing your hair, even your eyebrows, to changes in your skin and nails, cancer treatment can rob you of your confidence and self-esteem. But Look Good, Feel Better changes all that. More than 800,000 women have learned how to address the appearance side effects of cancer treatment through our workshops. Visit lookgoodfeelbetter.org to find a free workshop near you. Let Look Good, Feel Better help you feel like you again.
They'll test you, try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
The verdict is in, and the decision is final this evening at Folsom High School, where tonight on senior night at Prairie City Stadium, the host Bulldogs gave up an early 8 points and then started dropping bombs, courtesy of Jake Reithmeyer on the throwing end and C.J. Hutton on the receiving end. 3 touchdown connections between that pair on an evening when Reithmeyer threw 6 of them. Did it stop at 6, Coach?
Well, yeah.
And
when we went to running clock, it kind of slowed down a little bit.
It did indeed, but his stats will definitely be buoyed and as a result of that offensive display. But tonight, on a big scoring night here for the hosts, we have selected our players of the game, and I think we've got the right players. Sheldon Conde, in a night when his team was outgunned all the way around the horn, 19 tough carries, 120 yards, and a touchdown, and another 61-yard burst that set up their first score of the game. And for host Folsom, the touchdown connection, Reithmeyer to Hutton, those players have been honored as players of the game. Our Lauren Gooden is standing by. Goody, what you got?
Well, I got a full load down here tonight, but two competitors knowing each other very well, playing against each other. We're going to start with Del Oro. Sheldon, you came out, you just had good energy, good effort out there. What was your main focus on the field tonight playing against this team?
We know that Folsom's really good with the offense side of the ball, so we were trying to keep the ball in our hands, and yeah.
Now your coach came out, he was very fired up. What was that conversation like with him at halftime, and what was he kind of telling you to keep you kind of going in this game?
He was just telling us we got to pull tight and we can't give up. We could come back from this, but you can't score 27 points in one drive. You got to take it one play at a time.
Now you guys obviously had a tough one tonight, but when we came over here, we talked about playoff berth. It's a new season, new age right now. How are you kind of feeling going into the playoffs and getting your team kind of focused to going on what you guys, new season that you guys are going to handle?
Yes, ma'am. It's a new season, and we're going to get focused and take it one game at a time. Playoffs is just a whole different season, like you said, and we're ready. We're going to work for it.
Well, I know you guys got a good team. Good luck in playoffs, Sheldon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, I'm here with the tandem right now. It seems like senior night was your guys' night. CJ, can you kind of just talk to me about some of the plays you made off the line? You were kind of just really coming after it. What was your focus tonight coming into the game?
I mean, we just got to play fast. Our whole goal this week was to play fast, score early, get the ball up in the air and just go deep. And so coach was just calling those plays, and we were executing.
Now, I don't know how this relationship has grown, but how do you feel about your quarterback and the relationship you guys kind of have developed over this year?
You know, he came in, I played with him when I was in 8th grade, and then he came in freshman year. So, I've been playing with him for a while now, and I feel like our relationship's gotten really good, and that we kind of just can, communicate with just looking at each other. Like, he knows where to put the ball, and he knows where I'm going to run and stuff, so.
Now, you've been working hard extremely this whole year. Just recently committed to UC Davis. How has that level of just committing and kind of getting that over kind of got you to a different gear and more focused on what you're trying to do this season?
I mean, it's fantastic. I'm really excited about going to Davis. It can be a great opportunity for me, and I feel like it was definitely the best choice for me. And then also they're giving me the opportunity to play baseball. And it was a good relief to, finally get it off my plate and just focus on my season now, my senior season.
Well, it seems like you guys are really focused and locked in, CJ. Good luck in the playoffs. Now, the man who kind of had the offense going tonight, very comfortable. Can you talk to me about your offensive line and the protection they were kind of giving you?
They gave me a bunch of time in the pocket. Del Oro had good blitzes dialed up, and we protected it really well. And they gave me a lot of time to throw a couple touchdowns to my guys.
Now, you got a lot of receiver options, but it seemed like you and CJ were kind of on tonight. Can you talk to me about your game coming in and kind of getting focused and kind of him as a target?
We prepared CJ for a one-on-one matchup the whole game, and we used it to our ability. And he ran his routes great, and he was open, and I just gave him the ball.
It seems like it's your year this year. You're kind of stepping into the position, kind of taking over the realm here. What's your focus to help this team kind of prevail and do what Folsom's always done in the playoffs?
Our focus is at practice. We got to practice hard, get through everything, all the walkthroughs, everything dialed in. And on game days, we just perform the way we can, the way we have been, and take this team to state.
Well, you got to bye probably in that first game. Good luck in the rest of the playoffs. Well, Will, I'm going to try to find Doherty right now, but I'm going to swing it back to you.
Thanks, Goody. It was indeed quite a night for Jake Reithmeyer and Lauren's comment about essentially his club, his offense, and so forth, and stepping into that role with considerable vigor.
Well, it is, but he's got all kind of receivers, and CJ is a big play guy. He's an ideal slot back. I'm kind of glad he's made his commitment. I'm sure he feels relieved. He apparently is a good baseball player, and it's nice that he can do both in college. That's rare. But back to Riethmeyer, as you know, he comes from a long line of QBs here, and it's been tradition. And I'm very impressed with him, his toughness, his running ability, etc. So he's got some great targets, and then I attribute that line for giving him all day to throw. So that front line has done a great job. Sorensen, Cazzini, Harrison, McMahon, Christarson, and some. They don't get their due, and I like to give that front five a due for great blocking.
It's nice when the line is acknowledged and honored in that fashion, and I really liked one of the comments that Riethmeyer had when he said, actually, in essence, he complimented Del Oro's pass rush and their blitzes, and his line did adjust and kept them off. But that was a nice compliment he handed out, because we had seen by the stats that their pass rush, while not overwhelming by any one player, was spread out very nicely for 23 sacks this year, 2 more than Folsom.
And the way they started this game, it looked like that trend was continuing in the first couple of moments of the game. I mean, they put the heat on him, and then they caused a fumble, and they got the ball back. So they gave opportunities to their offense to do something. And the offense, of course, started out great and scored in 57 seconds.
Yes, their stat was terrific, and let's take a look at the final stats.
Well, take a look at this rushing yards. We knew that's the way it was going to be. The Bulldogs didn't need yardage. The Eagles did, 206 yards, of which Condi had himself over 100 yards, had a great night, and ran tough. Passing yards, 470 to 41, my goodness. He lit them up. Riethmeyer just lit them up, and big plays. Total offense, 523 to 247. First downs are even because they scored. They didn't have to constantly move the chains. They scored so fast, so big. Penalties, which I don't like to see. There we had a rash of them, particularly in the third quarter. 119 turnovers, only 1. Time of possession is way out of lock, but the scoreboard is kind of the opposite because they didn't need much time to score.
Well, no, they didn't, and as a result, this crowd was really treated. And that's the way it winds up this evening here in Folsom, and we're going to bounce it down to field level, and Lauren Goodman. Goody?
Yes, well, after all the celebration, I finally was able to grab the Folsom coach. Coach, year one, and obviously the first thing on the list is to handle league, and that's what you did so far. Yeah. How do you feel about your team?
I mean, I feel really good. I feel really good mostly about the fact that we're playing our best football now at the end of the year. You know, we've been playing a ton of kids, which maybe caused us to play slow at times early on, but we got a ton of kids that can play. We played a bunch of them for 9 weeks and again tonight, and so now we're healthy and going into playoffs and playing our best football in a league championship game and going into hopefully what another section championship run can be.
Coach, now you talked about your team's focus throughout the year, how you want them to be at this elite level. Yeah. Kind of a few penalties in that second half that kind of stopped you. How do you get this team kind of crisp and clean before you get into that playoff?
Yeah, you know, the penalties tonight, you always want to like hone in on that stuff. For me, the focus is always on the maturity level and being able to play consistent football from start to finish. And so penalties slowed us down for sure, put us behind the sticks. But, you know, last week we weren't able to start the second half after a big lead very well. And this week we did. You know, we started a little slow, giving up the touchdown drive right off the bat, but kids answered right back with 55 unanswered points and went in at halftime, and we were able to come back out and play consistently again and get another couple points on the board and get other kids into the game. And when the other kids come into the game, they're also held to the same standards. So we feel really good about that, top to bottom on the roster, all the way through the depth chart.
How do you feel about your team going into the playoffs, week off? Then you guys will perform. How do you feel going forward?
You know, I think that's something that I've learned just being around this program and this being my first year, but here last year was it's a long season. It's a long season. I'm definitely a grinder, but they get a week off and we're going to take advantage of it. I mean, we're healthy for the most part. We get a bye week, so might as well take a couple days off, which is not like me, but I think they've earned it, and I think we're going to play better because of it and try to just keep pace for another 6 weeks.
Thanks, Coach. We'll be watching on the playoffs.
Appreciate it.
Will.
Okay, Goody, thank you very much. Coach Doherty, understandably pleased with his team's performance, except for a couple of things. I imagine he may discuss the excessive penalties tonight. But all in all, and looking ahead into postseason play, I think he's pretty satisfied. Plus, he gets the bye week and gets to rest his crew, Jim. Well, as they mentioned about a bye and what's up next, we're implying the playoffs. Let's take a look and see what we're doing next week. Up next, Jim, the third season. So into the postseason we go, and that would be the CIF Sac Joaquin Section Les Schwab Tires Football Championships. And we'll be presenting opening round coverage a week from tonight on the 8th. Our destination yet undetermined, because Sunday afternoon the seedings committee will have the criteria for us to make that selection. So we are part of that postseason as well, Coach.
Yes, we are, and we're looking forward to it, certainly. And once we get those brackets on Sunday, we'll know where we're going and where we're heading, and there should be a lot of good games on the agenda, and we're looking forward to these playoffs. And there's no lock that, hey, Folsom could be the number one seed in D1, but I'm sure the rest of the D1s feel they have a shot.
It's always up for grabs, and we'll be there to bring you the action on some of those games in postseason play. But tonight, up on the hill at Prairie City Stadium here at Folsom High School, the top-ranked Bulldogs came up big tonight against Sierra Foothill League rival Del Oro and systematically bombarded a good Golden Eagle ball club by a count of 62-21 and finish off regular season undefeated at 6-0 and 9-1 overall on the season. So that's the way it shakes out in tonight's presentation of Access Sacramento's Hometown Sports Game of the Week. And kudos to our crew. That's right. The Hometown Sports Game of the Week broadcast crew is tops. And tip of the cap to our game director, Nick Dunn. And always a salute to the Imperator, Jim Domino. And what would we do without Goody, Lauren Goodman? I'm Will James. We thank you for joining us. And as always, look forward to the next occasion when we can cross your path. So long, everyone.
This program from Access Sacramento's Hometown Sports Game of the Week is available for purchase on DVD. For more information, call Access Sacramento, 916-456-8600, extension 0. This has been a Hometown Sports Game of the Week broadcast from Access Sacramento. Major underwriting support this season for Hometown Sports Game of the Week on Access Sacramento is provided by the Sacramento Metropolitan Cable Television Commission. Access Sacramento also thanks Sharif Jewelers, fine jewelers since 1932. Sharif Jewelers, a longtime sponsor of community television. And Folsom Lake Honda, a proud sponsor of Access Sacramento's Hometown TV and Game of the Week, and a partner in our community, Folsom Lake Honda.